All right, we are live. Can y'all hear me? See how many people we have. Okay, so we have 0 people. Okay, something's going on. Usually you have like 1 million at the start. Okay, so 0 people still. And can anyone hear me? Refresh this. I'm just gonna open this up. All right, oh, 10 people right off the bat. 10 people. All right, let's go, baby. All right, and I'm just gonna open up my. Okay, so 0 people still, and can anyone hear me? I can hear myself. Okay, that's good. And going live on this. Open this. All right. Okay, Rotary Emotions in the house. All right. Judy Brown's in the house. We have a whole bunch.
Good evening, everybody from Africa.
Yeah, we have the Africans is joining the show right now. The legendary. Okay, and let's see what else we have. Okay, we can see my face there and everything. Everything's pretty fine. Okay, Christoph Jung is here, hearing you. Let's go. You guys can hear me fine? Can you hear 9/11 Revisionist?
Hello, everybody. Hello. Testing.
Yeah, can y'all hear both of us? All right. All right, let's go. Yeah, I think they can hear us. We have 13 people on right now. Should we wait a bit? Okay. Howdy, MES, Norman, and all. Okay, Christoph says hi to all. Howdy. Okay, Restless Native is in here. Bless up. Rotary Emotion can hear us both. All right, bless up, everybody. All right, we are.
Couple of heavyweights.
Yeah. Should we wait till 20 people then go? We have 15 right now. People just walking in. Yeah, audio is good.
Maybe just maybe do some of the housekeeping that you usually do.
Yeah, I'll do that right now. I just want to know. John Fur, hi, what is this channel about? Oh, this is a Math Easy channel. It's named after my name, Matthew. Mainly, I teach math and other stuff and science ones, but also cover 9/11 stuff that I started realizing is like next level, and involves next level information and technology. So every channel should be a 9/11 truth one. But this specific topic, oh, Maggie's in the house, hi, MES and all. But this specific topic is on the UFO media. Because when you grasp 9/11, basically, you can literally filter out who is a real, quote, alternative media or truth teller or whatnot from the fake ones or the limited hangouts. Because like a lot of the ones that talk about UFOs, advanced technology, anti-gravity, free energy, they all avoid 9/11, which has irrefutable proof of every single thing they're trying to argue for. So 9/11 is the first one, yeah. And then go backwards to UFOs and whatnot. All right.
And that's what I'm basically going to try and point out with regards to some of their talking points, things that they discuss and don't discuss. Mm-hmm. And hopefully when we're done here, you'll have a better idea of how to spot the knots.
Yeah. And John first says, cool, yes, I agree with you all. All right, epic. So we have 17 people. I think I'm just going to go through some housekeeping, and then we'll give it over to 9/11 Revisionists. All right, and yeah, so how is that so to 9/11? How is that so to 9/11? Which, John, you'll start to realize, yeah, some of the free energy stuff, because the towers were turned to dust. They weren't explosives or whatnot. And people were levitated, objects were levitated. Like there's a lot of people and cars were being witness testimonies, literally describing them being levitated off the ground, and so on. And then that's not even discussing the so-called planes on 9/11, which are pretty much UFOs. That's like one of the irrefutable proof of a UFO or a unidentified flying object, or which is likely involved holographic or volumetric 3D projection. Anyways, I'm just going to read over the description right here, and then I'm going to go over the housekeeping and so on. So 9/11 Revisionist joins the show again to go over the UFO media landscape and show that the likes of Steven Greer, alien scientist, or Jeremy Reese, who has me blocked on X, and Ashton Forbes, who also has me blocked on X, will discuss anything related to suppressed free energy technology except 9/11 and the work of Dr. Judy Wood. All right, so the first thing, as always, you can go to MES Links, guys. All the links will be here. I have a whole list on the 9/11 truth stuff, and then you can click this button to make them all smaller, and you can literally go through all the stuff I have. The MH370 PSYOP over here, occult stuff, conspiracy stuff, Livestream stuff, and so on. And I'll put the link here, so make sure. Oh, Jeremy's in the house. Greetings, Earthling. And And then the next setup is, you can also be a superfan, guys. Superfan Links is an MES Links. MES goes deep diving. Yeah, that pretty much, my channel is I'm pretty much a deep diver. All right, guys, click the superfan, become a superfan, and give me a bunch of money, and you get emojis. Oh, one second, I gotta remove these bookmarks. Show bookmarks, only a new tab. All right, so become a superfan, pay $15 a month in Canadian or $3 American, roughly, and you get these emojis. You get these sick emojis. Yeah, John, for the whole thing is a scam to use the excuse to go to Iraq and the whole Pentagon with smoke and mirrors. Yeah, it's that's one reason, but the other reason is it's the start of like the new century of psyops. So it's also to shift humanity into like the security state, and then COVID's the one shifting it over to the digital security state. All right. So the next setup is, all right, and also the link to these notes, all the links that we'll be covering will be in this, and I also have a special announcement. We'll go over that soon. An absolutely bombshell announcement. All right, and yeah, so there's a link to the notes. You can go see them all. You'll power through some more housekeeping. All right, guys, and donate right here, mes.fm/donate. Donate, throw a bunch of cash money. You could throw crypto. You could donate in PayPal, or you could even do the super chat and become a super fan, and so on and so forth. All right, continuing further, so close this stuff. MES Links, move it.
MES, you forgot about asking people to send me some gold bars. Man.
Oh no, I don't forget. I have that soon for you. You're in the next. Okay, so Telegram, guys. Here's a link to my Telegram. Oh, Timothy Sullivan's in the house. Epic stuff. All right, Tim is in the house, and yeah, so Telegram. He's the one who sent me about that RFK Jr. has a worm in his head. I'm like, what is going on here? All right, this is Telegram, guys. Everything I post will be like I usually post everything on Telegram first as a pretty much an organizational setup, and then I will share these later as I go through and whatnot. So just links to my Telegram. And the next setup is donate to 9/11 Revisionist. Throw some. Here's his PayPal. Send him some gold bars, guys. Some South African dinars or whatever they call them, or some US dollar, and just give him buy him some coffee, some gold coffee. All right, and next setup in housekeeping. So Morgan Reynolds, May 25th, Saturday live stream. That's still happening. That's the in 2 weeks from now. Morgan Reynolds, the guy who did the request for correction on the so-called planes on 9/11. He also has a website, nomoregames.net. So make sure to check that out. And then next one right here. Next one is 9/11 Revisionist, possibly debating thermiters at Boston 9/11 Truth. We'll let you know once that date is set. And also MES and 9/11 Revisionists are the new Richard D. Hall and Andrew Johnson. All right. And then now is MES breaking news, guys. John Hutchison, June 8th, Saturday live stream. All right. You heard that here, June 8th. This is not a test, guys. John Hutchison effect guy, and also clarification. And this is literally bombshell news. I'll look to put a video in for this as well. So John says he never faked any experiment. He was using high voltage wires in those footage and has the original video. And then disinfo agents took it out of context in their own lies. So if you hear people saying videos are faked or he faked a few of them, those are actually lies. He actually did not fake them. He was using high voltage wires in that footage, and he has original, and I'll be going over all that. And also, Alex Pizzaro touched the Hutchison sample while it was jelly, and he has his fingerprints on it. Actually, I wanted to show that right now. We'll see the Skype. Okay, this is a Skype one. How do I open up that one? Actually, I'll show it next time. But anyways, he sent me a whole bunch of footage. We'll say that for the John Hutchison one, and also make a video on the solid block of iron turning to turning into jelly. He has multiple angles, multiple footage of that, and he also will see if I can get in contact with the guy that filmed that as well. So that's a real footage, not fake, as a lot of clowns are talking about. Anyways. And yeah, without further ado, well, it's not a revisionist, but also he has some show notes right here. Here's the show notes, guys, that he'll be covering. So basically what's going to happen is he's going to be covering some of this, and then afterwards I'll be covering a few of the notes I have and a lot of on Ashton Forbes and so on. So here is the setup here, and there's a link to it. And yeah, so without further ado, I'll just give it over to 9/11 Revisionist right here. All right.
Okay, good evening, everybody. I hope you guys are going to enjoy this one. It's going to be a short one. I think I stole enough of your time with the last one. Just before we start getting going, MES did share all the links to my various online socials, but just don't forget about a huge body of work that I've put in onto my Substack. There's close to 76 articles that you can work through, so go check them out, please. I also want to just give you guys a bit of a heads up. There was a new article that Andrew Johnson shared. It was about the mysterious flashes at the World Trade Center complex. Basically, what it boils down to is that somebody noticed that there were weird and wonderful antennas all over the show with lights flashing before the planes impacted, after they impacted, before the buildings went down, and all of that. So MES will be doing a deep dive into this article and all the evidence that this person shared with Andrew. I contacted him and he gave me permission to just copy it here. Basically what I did is I brought in the actual video sources that the person was referring to, so you can find the link to the original YouTube video, but I just put it into the article so that people don't have to jump up and down between the two platforms in order to go have a look at it. Also, something that is recently dropped is Mark Conlon and his work that he's done on the planes, on 9/11 plane research. He's also recently started his Substack. He dropped a bunch of articles this week, and soon you'll be able to see his interview with Jeremy Nell. Basically, Jeremy Nell is a cartoonist turned podcaster through COVID, and he's pretty much the Joe Rogan of South Africa. And he's had very, very interesting conversations with people on numerous topics. And seeing that he's got an external server that's somewhere in the Caymans or who knows where, he isn't limited and censored with regards to the conversation that he has. And the depth that they went into in this podcast won't be able, you just won't be able to upload this to YouTube without getting a strike. So I'm not even going to play this short little clip. You go to 9/11 Planes Research on Substack and go listen to a summary of what they basically discussed. Then Jerm also had a conversation with Adam Eisenberg recently, talking about what he saw and what he did not see at the Pentagon. Very, very interesting, because this is a gentleman that has tried to approach the 9/11 truthers with his information, and he tells a very, very interesting story with regards to the guys like Richard Gage, David Chandler, all those guys, on how they don't actually want to have him speak, because he basically debunks everything that they are pushing. So just go look for germwarfare.com. You'll be able to find the interview there, and he is also on Odyssey. So please go check it out. A very interesting testimony that he's got there. He basically proves that he can prove with photos and his military documents that he was there. And yeah, it's explosive to hear what he's got to say about what he saw and what he did not see at the Pentagon. So recently on my X profile, I had somebody in the comment section send a video clip with testimonies from a bunch of the first responders at the World Trade Center, and what this person said basically hits home rather intensely, because he basically says that if you wanted to survive the events at the World Trade Center, you had to be a piece of paper. So just listen to this quick description of what this gentleman gave.
We can't hear it. We can't hear the audio.
Can't hear the audio?
No.
Damn, let's quickly see. Maybe I'll have to pop in and back out again.
Okay.
Let me pop in and back out.
All right.
Stop sharing. Confirm. Stop sharing. Screen share. Can you hear it now?
Yeah, I can hear it.
Okay, cool.
I was standing there thinking, we got 210-story office buildings. What's in an office building? Desks, couches, chairs, computers, whatever. In the 9 days I stood there, never saw a desk, never saw a computer, never saw a couch, never saw a chair, nothing. If you wanted to survive 9/11, you had to be a piece of paper. Because there was a cemetery not too far at one of the churches with the old stand-up grave.
That's pretty intense. So now to basically give you guys an idea of what this book, Where Did the Towers Go, is all about, the book that nobody really wants to discuss, the basis of free energy technology, or the evidence that points to it, that all of these UFO guys are so scared about. Let's just quickly listen to what is contained in this book.
Mouth open, frankly, because it is just extraordinary.
What is arguably the most important book of the 21st century. Where Did the Towers Go provides the only comprehensive scientific investigation into the events of 9/11 in the public domain.
You got to read the book, Where Did the Towers Go, by Dr. Judy Wood. It's very remarkable.
Anyone who's read the book knows what happened.
The book is so dangerous because it is so fundamentally based in the evidence.
None of this evidence in this book has been refuted.
No one has refuted anything in my book, nor can they, because it's evidence. You cannot refute evidence.
Your book is written in a way where it's scientifically written, however anybody can understand it.
You just look at the pictures and it's like you can't explain this stuff any other way.
She's not discussing if it was Al-Qaeda. She does not touch that. It's analyzing the evidence.
Her book has more evidence about 9/11 than anything that ever written or probably ever will be.
The evidence I have collected is visual evidence.
Dozens and dozens of color pictures where you can actually see what happened moments after the towers disappeared.
It empowers the reader to see it and understand it for themselves.
Those pictures weren't taken weeks later or months later. No, that was taken hours after.
Plenty of evidence that is absolutely confirmed 10 different ways. If you look, you see. But if you listen to what they tell you, you don't see.
After you read it, you'll know that what you've been told is not only a lie, but what's being fed to the truth movement is a lie.
I don't come to any conclusions beyond what the evidence makes undeniable. It allows people to know once and for all what happened.
Where did the towers go?
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 Where Did the Towers Go? By Dr. Judy Wood, PhD.
If half the world read my book, you bet everything would change. It would undermine the power structure in all ways.
The people that are running the planet, whoever they are, they would be finished because of what's revealed in this book.
If you don't have Dr. Judy Wood's book, Where Did the Towers Go? Do yourself a favor. Buy it, read it. This is a very important truth that you need to know.
Where did the towers go?
Evidence of directed free energy technology on 9/11.
Mouth open, Frank.
And after you've read that book, you are completely and utterly red-pilled. It's basically very easy to follow. Go read it 2 or 3 times, and go to a website, read a frequently asked questions, and you will be able to put anybody in their place with regards to all the other theories out there that have never seen the inside of a court of law, because everything that she put into this book, she put into her whistleblower QTAM case against NIST, which allowed her to then do a civil suit against the 23 NIST subcontractors, and that also ended up in the US Supreme Court. But unfortunately, the US courts are corrupt, and yeah, you can read all about that on her website. Now, when we come back to the UFO guys, obviously we know that there's technology out there, and the guys are working on their own versions of extraterrestrial or unidentified flying objects. A lot of people feel that the technology out there is sometimes actually man-made crafts just to confuse people. And in 1998, Edgar Fouché had a speech that he gave with regards to how he wanted to be able to tell people about what he was up to. And let's listen to what he had to say, because I think a lot of the sci-fi stuff that comes out might be directly linked to black ops operations, and that's their little way of telling us what they're up to without us realizing it. And because we saw it in a sci-fi movie, then people will be subjected to the whole idea that it can't be, it's a sci-fi movie, it can't be real. So listen to what he had to say.
I talked to several military judge advocate general lawyers, or JAGs. But I actually did. I actually made appointments with them. And I told them I worked many classified programs, and I wanted to write some fiction story that are technology based. I was told I couldn't name any real individuals with real clearances or covers or their working names, and I haven't. I was also told I couldn't discuss any details or technology of secret programs I had been personally assigned to, which I haven't done. Then I was told as long as I did that, I could damn well write what I wanted to, and I have. Of course, I didn't tell them I was going to write about the government conspiracy to cover up UFO contact and reverse engineering of government, reverse engineering of alien technology, or that I was interviewing SR-71, U-2, TR-1, and the SR-75 pilots that I made contacts with over the years and had flown classified aircraft. But I didn't think that was important at the time to tell them. You don't think that was important? I mean, but you know, you give the government too much information, they just screw it up.
So here we've got a movie that came out in 1985 talking about various technologies and lasers and all of that, but the opening scene in the movie is rather telling, because it gives you an idea of what might be going on and is most probably going on. And when we start talking about Dr. Steven Greer and his whole 30-year marathon of getting into UFO disclosure and the technologies that are being hidden and all of that, this is rather telling as well. So let's go into that.
Our scientists are turning an engineering dream into an effective reality.
Now all we have to do is build it.
That's the weapon, isn't it, Dave? What do you think of Don's little movie, Roy? I think there weren't enough girls in it. Well, I have a little take now on alternate weapon uses, plans for the mini shuttle, and modifications in the B-1 for aerial launch. Does the president or any other responsible agency know about this?
We're on a need-to-know basis, George. Besides, the CIA is a responsible agency.
Well, I think they do need to know. you're going to single-handedly cause a major escalation.
Our studies indicate that this type of weapon is totally useless in warfare.
Well, it's not intended for use in your kind of warfare, Roy. It's a perfect peacetime weapon. That's why it's secret.
So it's both immoral and unethical.
Yes.
When did we get it?
As I understand it, there seems to be a small technical, teeny-weeny little problem with the energy source.
I don't want to hear about any problems, Don. We have plans for your little ray gun this summer. I need a success here. I don't need any delays jeopardizing that success. Am I making myself clear, Don?
Huh. Clear as vodka, Dave.
You tell that Dr. Hathaway to get on the stick.
Well, I guess I'm just going to have to push a little harder then, huh?
As long as we have a working weapon by the end of June. Right, General?
I wouldn't know, Dave. I haven't had a working weapon since Korea.
I'm sorry, Dave. This is too much. I'm going to ask for a reassignment.
I'm sorry to hear that, George.
I urge you to stop.
Thanks for your input. Sorry you won't be on the team. Maybe next time. Too bad. Used to be a good man. Afraid we're going to have to liberate George.
Liberate? You mean liquidate?
Larry, let's see that film on blinding techniques. Then we'll all have some lunch, all right?
So yeah, they show us a bunch of stuff in the movies, and something that Field Interference showed on his channel was where they showed dustification in Hollywood, and most people didn't realize this, but that's just have a look at this little scene that gives you a bit of an idea.
I'm in position. Move to phase 2.
Боже! Сергей, скажи, что не конец нашего побега.
So, MES and I aren't the first people to notice that the UFO guys just don't want to touch 9/11 as a subject with regards to everything that they are sharing with their followers and people in the UFO circles. So, in Andrew Johnson, who's been very, very involved with the work of Dr. Wood ever since 2005, has also chronicled all of these disinformation agents and the whole cover-up with regards to the UFO guys. And in 2007, he gave a talk with regards to it not being acknowledged, and he gets into some of the UFO people. One specific person that this clip is going to be about is Alfred Lambert Weber, and this gentleman served as a leadership positions for environmental protection, international law, justice, public health, and some more. He was in exopolitics, futurist, public affairs. He was a leader in broadcasting. So this guy is high up and he knows a lot of stuff there. So now listen to the interactions that they had and what Andrew Johnson brings to the table with regards to this gentleman after being at a seminar with Dr. Wood where she was presenting and he was presenting, and then what happened subsequently thereafter.
let's get on to some of these other figures in the UFO community. Alfred Weber and Lorraine Murray. Lorraine Murray talks a lot about chemtrails. Alfred Weber talks about exopolitics. He's written a book about it. He still does radio shows every week, probably a couple of times a week. I used to think he was a good guy, and he wanted the truth. Lorraine Murray claims to be a geoscientist, but somebody sent me this document that said that she's a senior scientific technologist. This is from Lawrence Livermore National Laboratories, where she worked. Why am I mentioning her? Yeah. She basically said, let's just see if I've got this in slightly the wrong order.
The matrix, the depopulation matrix, is designed to be activated by a 9/11 style false flag state terror attack against a major urban center in the U.S., possibly using nuclear, biological weapons, or advanced exotic weapons such as directed energy weapons, which I think Dr. Wood has done a magnificent job of, really holding her space and bringing us to this. Well, we've had the terror attack in New York through the false flag operation using most plausibly directed energy weapons of some sort. Okay? We've had the Hurricane Katrina false flag operation using most plausibly directed energy weapons, or HAARP, to teleguide the hurricane right into New Orleans. First of all, I'd like to congratulate again Dr. Judy Wood, because I think she's proved prima facie that 9/11 by itself tonight was a crime against humanity through the use of an advanced exotic weapon. Okay? I believe that Dr. Judy Wood and the evidence that she has presented here would be a worthy witness at an international citizens war crimes tribunal. So this is going forward.
Does this part have audio or just text?
It seems to me that you now have documentation that you could put together in papers that would be published by accepted journals such as the IEEE. I mean, you're dealing with comparisons between laboratory effects and field effects. Is this a course of action that you think would be useful, or?
Perhaps it's only so many hours in the day.
I see. I see what you're saying.
But it is intriguing, and I've put into these physical observations and noticing similarities, and that's where things are now. But it is pretty intriguing.
Yeah, because now it seems to me that in this paper you've achieved a new threshold, and that is to have what we could almost call a laboratory control.
Proof of concept.
Yeah, proof of concept, and that brings in a whole new standard to present a whole new standard of expression to the various audiences. I mean, there are so many audiences for this material, ranging from a public audience, a judicial audience, a legislative audience, a research audience, and it's just that the mind literally starts, gee, when are you guys going to make your first TV documentary? Is the first thing that comes to mind. Wow.
To me, there's a lot of compelling similarities.
Yeah.
Enough so that it's pretty convincing that some amazing technology was used.
Yes.
Something did this to the buildings.
Right.
It's an amazing technology. We don't know who did it or what exactly it was, but let's study it because we could use this technology for good things.
Yes. Indeed, that's a very profound statement, because that statement, in fact, dovetails with the mission and the goals of a whole movement called the disclosure movement, which is that, and I think that John has touched on it, and that is that behind the sequestered projects of the black budget and other classified military intelligence projects, there are these advanced technologies which are being developed at taxpayer expense, which are for weapons applications, which could as easily be applied to new energy applications that would be to the benefit of the biosphere. This research, I think, underscores the need for disclosure. Whatever technology did this should be disclosed.
And just run through 5 minutes why you think HAARP was the instrument that caused the molecular dissociation and the controlled and the disappearance of the World Trade Center.
Well, it was really Judy Wood's presentation, which had the physical evidence and the photos, which are not available. They haven't been.
Well, without referring to Judy Wood, in your own words, why do you think HAARP caused it?
So that's a bit of a turnaround, isn't it? Mr. Alfred Weber. How very strange. Now, in let's say, August 2007, when he was at the conference, much like this one, with Dr. Judy Wood, he said she'd done a brilliant job proving that an energy weapon was used to destroy the World Trade Center. He interviewed her in February 2008 at his house with John Hutchison and said, whatever technology that did this should be disclosed. A few months later, he says, with Lorraine Murray, don't mention Judy Wood. Why was it HAARP that destroyed the World Trade Center? Didn't even mention the Hutchison effect at all in 3 hours of radio. Not one mention. So we know that the Hutchison effect is very relevant to the destruction of the World Trade Center. We don't know if it's exactly what caused it, but it is very relevant. And I have evidence in spades that that's true.
So yeah, this has been coming on for the last 12 years with regards to people not wanting to acknowledge or disclose the fact that some sort of black ops technology was in play on 9/11. Now, in 2023, Steven Greer had this whole disclosure talk, and he basically brought in a guy talking about directed energy weapons that are being hidden on Antarctica. This guy's been getting a lot of airtime on various platforms. We'll be getting into that. And at the same time, we've got Greg Reese, who's working for Alex Jones, who has also done a bunch of exposés, short videos on directed energy weapons, also with regards to the Maui fires, but I've called him out a couple of times on his Substack and on his Twitter feeds about all the different stuff that he's been doing. So here's just one of my posts where I was talking about the cases that he's not mentioning. I also share the information with regards to ARA and SIAC, who were tasked with the cleanup. He doesn't even know about the DEPS, the Directed Energy Professional Society. And in his comment sections, he basically just ignores whatever you give him. I've also sent him various links to some of my articles, and he just doesn't want. He's combative in linking directed energy weapons with 9/11. So, Mr. Gregory's, why don't you want to go to 9/11 and directed energy weapons? Why are you pushing controlled demolition for Building 7? But with Maui and all the other things, you are very, very quick to share information on directed energy weapons. So let's just go to the little video that he did with regards to the alien disclosure and the guy from Antarctica and everything that they've got there, because it's good information. And this gentleman who was the whistleblower was one of 5 people, I think. 2 of the other guys who were also talking there. Unfortunately, I haven't got the pictures here, but the one gentleman had like 2 or 3 buttons, one on his tie, and 2 lapels on his jacket, and it was Mason stuff, Agenda 2030 stuff. The other guy who was also there, he had a Mason ring on. So, Mr. Greer, why are you hanging out with these kind of guys, and why are they the guys who are coming out to give us information with regards to all this UFO disclosure stuff? And we'll get into Greer very shortly to listen to some of the hints that he basically drops with regards to the technology that's in line with everything that we are seeing these days. So let's just quickly listen to what old Greg Reese put together after Steven Greer's 2023 disclosure press conference.
During World War II, the Nazis' most classified project was known as Die Glock, the bell. Secret documents found years later reveal that the bell was a new kind of exotic energy technology that could affect time and defy gravity. In 1939, the Nazis set up a secret base in Antarctica known as New Swabia. Starting in 1945, Operation Paperclip secretly brought hundreds of Nazi scientists into America, where they were hired by the military-industrial complex. In 1946, Admiral Richard Byrd led a military expedition known as Operation High Jump to seek out Nazi base New Swabia and other Antarctica bases. On his way back to the U.S., Admiral Byrd told Chilean newspaper El Mercurio that in the event of a new war, the U.S. would be facing military craft that can fly from one pole to the other with incredible speed. In 1959, a dozen nations signed the Antarctic Treaty, making it illegal for anyone to travel south of the 60th parallel without government permission. Since then, curious videos have circulated that show what appear to be Nazi UFOs. And just last Monday, Dr. Steven Greer introduced Antarctica whistleblower Eric Hecker.
In 2010, I was selected to go down to the South Pole Station in Antarctica for an entire year by Raytheon Polar Services as an employee of a third-party contractor for the National Science Foundation. I function in a dual-role capacity as a tradesman and a firefighter. My responsibilities required me to be more informed than most of my crew and offered me complete access to the facilities. What I learned from this unique experience needs to be shared with the entire world. The technology at the South Pole Station certainly can do what it is presented as its primary purposes. and unfortunately much more. The ice cube neutrino detector is presented as a passive listening device for the purposes of the science as presented. But I'm going to skip right through the chase, folks. I have provided documentation that proves that the 5,160, what they call DOMs, that are embedded in the ice can actually transmit at 2,047 volts each. That gives us a long list of things to consider. It is effectively a multifaceted directed energy weapons platform that I will list rapidly a few things that it can do. Vehicle detection. We're learning that these off-world craft, on-world craft, ours or other nations, are also emitting neutrinos. So this makes the South Pole Station effectively an air traffic control station for this new level of equipment that nobody's discussing. In addition to the ability to detect neutrinos and the exotic vehicles, I provided documentation that shows that this is also a system for faster than light communications. In the past, Gary McKinnon has hacked NASA, found the off-world fleet, the list of captains, and it's apparent that if we have faster than light vehicles moving throughout the system, we're going to need faster than light communications. This is that facility. Unfortunately, I have other bad news. The season that I was there, 2010 to 2011, we converted from construction to operations and maintenance in both the elevated station and the detector array. Unfortunately, when they first fired it up, that was when we had the earthquakes in Christchurch, New Zealand. There's 2 incidental shots before they were able to target it correctly. This is an earthquake generating device as well. This is the weapons of war that we have to deal with now and what Raytheon's hiding. There's an ELF system at the South Pole Station that when I arrived, I was told it was off, dismantled, and completely defunct. In my work, I will rapidly just tell you, I had to figure out the circuitry for certain other repairs, and I found that this system is in fact completely energized, up and running, and being utilized with the other systems for nefarious purposes as well. The Atmospheric Research Observatory is in what we call the clean air sector. I witnessed myself a very powerful green laser shooting out of the top of this facility into the cosmos. This, I believe, is a secondary form of long-range communications and or a defense system. A question of power comes into play for all of these facilities that are present. I assure you, I knew what was going on. I knew the load demands of the facility, and all of these new items exceed the demand for the systems that I was presented. I'm doing due diligence and research. I believe there is either a secondary power supply there that is either nuclear, that was there prior to the start of the Antarctic Treaty, which prohibits such things, and or that there is some sort of exotic power supply system there that just is not in the verbiage of the treaty, so it negates the responsibility to the parties involved.
Reporting for InfoWars, this is Greg Reese.
Okay, so if you want to get into a little bit of the history with regards to directed energy weapons and all of that, in this article, I do link to a playlist that I've got on directed energy weapons going back all the way to some of the first uses in 1989 during the Panama invasion. I give you a little bit of an idea of what's in the playlist. So go onto my Substack, go look for directed energy weapons in Antarctica. It was published in June 15, 2023. One of, I think, most probably my 5th or 6th article that I wrote. I've also seen that people are asking about my YouTube channel. Yeah, my 3rd YouTube channel got nuked. I've got a 4th one now, and when I logged in today to be able to comment in the comment section once I'm done with my presentation, I got this. Review an issue. 9/11 Red Pill thought experiment has been flagged for hate speech. And then I had to do a YouTube policy thingamabobby so that it can, the strike won't stay. So that's the first video that I uploaded it, and they didn't like it. So please also go to my Rumble channel, Revisiting 9/11. Go watch the video over here, and you tell me if there's any hate speech in this, because all that is being mentioned is well, the lack of rubble and a thought experiment with regards to that. So please go check it out. You'll see I've got a bunch of information here with new things that came in. The bulk of my work, 550 videos, are on my Odyssey channel, easily downloadable. So first step, go to my Odyssey channel because everything is there, and then I've slowly but surely started migrating some of the uploads that I do to Odyssey onto my Rumble channel as well. So now, with further ado, let's quickly jump into the important article that I want to go through, where we will look at old Steven Greer and his cronies with regards to all the talking points that the UFO guys talk about, because they talk about scalar electromagnetics, RF weapons, magnetic electrogravitic nuclear reactions, and so forth. And especially when you look at what we saw on 9/11, any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. And that's a quote from Arthur C. Clarke. And on 9/11, by using a technology which was beyond the general public's knowledge and comprehension, the perpetrators hoped to be able to commit their crime in broad daylight with impunity. The crime committed on 9/11 can't even be defined using the tightly controlled science taught in schools and universities, and current laws do not cover acts of magic. So when it comes to the technology, Dr. Wood has basically mentioned a lot of information, and this is a very good, quick summary with regards to what we saw on 9/11. So let's listen to what Dr. Wood has to say and a couple of other people and their opinions.
The military do have secret departments and...
Oh, there's lots of secret technology out there that's been around for a very long time.
Again, another Arthur C. Clarke quote. Any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic.
It seems like magic. And that's the trouble. Conjurers and stage magicians can perform the same feats, often much more entertainingly. It seems like magic. So the problem for the scientist is to separate the trickery from the real thing.
Let's give the hologram theory the benefit of the doubt for a moment and pretend such technology might exist. That still leaves the question of what cut the plane-shaped hole.
And this is where it ties in with Dr. Wood's research, at least up to a point, is how the holes in the buildings were made.
The magnetometer data suggests that a directed energy weapon was used to create the wing-shaped holes in the buildings.
Right.
Been looking into the Pentagon and Shanksville.
So a couple of things about Shanksville and the Pentagon.
Pentagon and Shanksville, there is the same evidence if you look.
A little bit of evidence that's available.
But there's not nearly as much evidence.
So plane-shaped hole was made.
Talking about the holes.
The plane-shaped hole. The hole was created in the tower.
Well, if it doesn't look like a jet crash, what does it look like?
An energy weapon.
Is advanced technology.
Strange effects.
Once you study what happened at the World Trade Center, then you look at the Pentagon site and you go, oh my gosh, it is the same thing.
From the magnetometer data, the spikes in that.
The planes didn't do that.
Magnetic electrogravitic nuclear reaction. Magnetic electrogravitic nuclear reaction.
He produces effects such as the jellification of metal turning to jelly, with almost little or no heat, or even cooling down in that process.
There was this blast of warm air. It wasn't hot.
And we've got a number of other supporting pieces of evidence, like, for example, Edna Sintron, who's one of the people that was standing in the hole, and she's holding onto the steel beam literally within an hour of when the hole came. So that means it can't have been hot.
If the fire was so intense and stuff like that, where this plane crashed supposedly, how people could be standing right in that hole?
Well, that's where they were. They were there because there was no other place to go. Well, listen, this photo speaks for itself.
They took a rat tail file, put it between two wooden boards, put it in there. It lit up just like, remember the old incandescent light bulbs? Sure. We have a wire across there, and just like that, it lights up. Got to the point the whole file, which is as big as my finger, just lit up, and broke apart.
Split in two.
The interesting piece was, as it had been white hot, they reached in and picked it up and it was cold. They reached in and picked it up and it was cold. It's cold. It's cold. It's cold. It's cold.
What is it, hot? Cold, damn cold.
Is using what are called electrostatic fields. And he interacts that with magnetic fields.
There's a fluctuation in the magnetometer data.
That's another thing which people don't really want to talk about.
We have spikes at 1003 as well as the 1006 seismic readings.
And microwaves from microwave generators.
The active denial system, which DARPA and a few other military subsidiaries, these companies have been working at, is something that's been around for a long time.
Active denial technology and future solid-state active denial technology system will produce a focused beam of directed energy to provide our troops a non-lethal option to stop, deter, and turn back suspicious individuals.
From RF generators, radio frequency generators.
Uses radio frequency millimeter waves at a frequency of 95 gigahertz.
It only penetrates 1/64 of an inch of your skin, goes very shallow into where your nerve receptors are.
Most described it as feeling like a hot oven or grill being opened up.
Yeah, so that's very, very, very interesting. There's old Mark Conlon in his younger years. Well, he's at least aged very well, not like me with a face for radio. So whenever you interact with all these UFO professionals, like the so-called alien scientist, Jeremy Rice, we will be getting into him a little bit later as well, and especially in this short little clip with regards to what he has to say. We've interacted with him, me and MES. He's blocked both of us because we had a whole nice thermite. He pushes thermite right now, and you'll hear in this video where he contradicts himself, where he was being interviewed with Peter Santilli. We'll get into a full discussion with that later on through the conversation, but just listen to how he contradicts himself with Peter Santilli in this very, very short little clip.
I've seen from Dr. Wood so far is a colorful picture book which continuously stresses the need to look at evidence in order to determine exactly what happened at the World Trade Center.
So your answer is no, you have not read the book, Where Did the Towers Go?
No, I have not read it. I don't own a copy. I would never buy it. I think that she's a distraction. The whole buildings were blown to Kingdom Come. I mean, that much is obvious. So, although conventional explosives have been ruled out due to lack of noise and seismic evidence,
I'm like amazed now. 110-story building above us, and I'm looking up at the sun.
All that huge amount of weight above it cascades down, and the floors collapse one after another at real-time speed.
So we know the whole pancake collapse theory narrative that was pushed by NIST is complete and utter bunk. Then that last gentleman who was talking about that was part of the Skeptic Society in the early days, and everything that he was basically saying you could show to be complete and utter hogwash. So now we've got our little UFO guru, Steven Greer, who's been doing all right work, but still a little bit of a limited hangout, and I'll show you that shortly. It's also well documented in Andrew Johnson's book, 9/11 Finding the Truth, and some of these UFO-related books as well. So let's just have a listen to what he had to say to Jesse Ventura with regards to the technology that is being hidden away from us plebs.
The technology's there that we wouldn't need the fossil fuel industry?
We would not. No, we do not need oil, gas, or coal, or nuclear power, or centralized utilities, and have not needed them for decades.
The best way to know this truth is by studying the physical evidence of that day.
And I've got to reiterate how important it is, excuse me, to watch Chris Hampton's 3 documentaries on 9/11 Alchemy series. He's done superb work, especially 9/11 Facing Reality. He spent 9 months working with Mark Conlon to put that together. If you haven't seen 9/11 Alchemy Facing Reality, that is a must watch, because I think that's one of the best overarching documentaries with regards to 9/11. Now, in 2015, Steven Greer was asked about Dr. Wood and the directed energy weapon angle on 9/11, and the talk was how the secret government works, the most explosive expose, and unfortunately, when pressed about it, he gave a really, really lukewarm answer with regards to it. He basically tried to dodge the question, if you can make that kind of statement. But you be the judge. Listen to his answer about being asked if directed energy weapons were used on 9/11.
I have looked at it. You know, I have bigger fish to fry. 9/11 was terrible. We lost 3,000 people. It led to 2 huge wars and trillions of dollars. I will tell you this. I'm not going to get into specifics. I mentioned a gentleman named Richard Foch, third highest guy, Richard Foch at the Naval Research Labs. He was in meetings with the then Vice President of the United States, Cheney. And he said, absolutely, it was known about in advance, and there was involvement at that level. And he told me, and I have witnesses, multiple witnesses to this, that if he were to speak of this, now he's passed away, that he, his wife, his children, and his grandchildren would all be killed. That's all I'm going to say on the 9/11 issue. But there is a lot to that story. I've never shared publicly what I just said, but the man has passed away. So it's not hard to, and I think most people get into these grand conspiracy theories. Basically, all you have to do is stand down. There's constant threat. There is terrorism out there. And you don't even have to hoax an event in that case. You just have to stand down the systems that would have intercepted it. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like when you're doing a code blue, boom, clear. You say clear before you do the electric shock. So you just clear the system, let it come in and hit. Now, what I think happened on 9/11 is more like what I just described. And I have very good reason to believe that, because someone of that integrity and rank had a front row seat and knew about it. And I've never spoken of this before right now, but I think that it's disturbing. It's enraging, but it's a minor rounding error compared to what's coming if we don't end this cartel's hegemony on the secrecy related to UFOs, ETs, what have you. 9/11 is going to be a very minor blip on the screen. So that's my warning to people. You can take it or not. But I've known what you just asked about since it happened. My whole security team lit up like you wouldn't believe when that happened.
Okay, so his whole security team lit up. So obviously he knows what technology was used there, but he's sidestepping the whole question. So come on, if you really want to do full disclosure, why aren't you mentioning directed energy weapons and the dustification of buildings, and that technology is out there? Once again, he was in a Senate hearing where he was talking about magnetic electrogravitic nuclear reactions. Just listen to this, and this will tie into what Dr. Wood also says, and we'll go visit that as well.
Between the late 1800s and 1929, there were a number of breakthroughs that ended up being suppressed. that had to do with creating very high voltage VHV systems so that you could create a vector into what's now been called the zero-point energy field. When Nikola Tesla died, this information that he had, which allowed for a car to run out of the ambient energy, was in documents confiscated by the FBI. And I have a Department of Defense document demanding that the FBI turn these over to the DoD. The FBI refused. By 1928 and 29, T. Townsend Brown, as well as the Kolosky-Frost experiment in physics in Germany, had determined that VHV, very high voltage systems, done in a certain resonant field could result in so-called electromagnetic-gravitic effect.
Okay, so he mentions electrogravitic nuclear reactions and all of that kind of stuff, and that is exactly what Dr. Wood talks about. And this is a 2012 interview with Dr. Wood, one of the best interviews I think that she's done, because she was talking to a gentleman who actually spent 3 days reading the book, studying it. Himself has been into 9/11 and all the various talking points, just like I was, and after he just took the time to not listen to all the negative and the ad hominems with regards to Dr. Woods and actually did the bloody homework, he had on and just listened to this wonderful interaction between the two of them.
But what you're suggesting now is not only were these weapons developed and used, but that they use free energy. Am I correct in that?
This is evidence of free energy technology. And what I mean by free energy is non-conventional energy that is not metered, has not been metered.
So, okay, but just because it's not metered, you can cheat the socket.
Well, it's not conventional either.
It's not conventional. It's what is 0-point energy, or
I don't give it that name.
Motion energy, or
actually, if I were to give it a name, the name I would give it is magnetic electrogravitic nuclear reactions.
Which kind of covers everything, doesn't it? What doesn't it cover?
Yeah, electrogravitic nuclear reactions describes low energy nuclear reactions, which the slang term for it is cold fusion.
Oh, this is the Pons and Fleischmann, right, isn't it?
Right.
The cold fusion thing that was discredited. In fact, discredited, I think, partly by one of the main proponents of the nanothermite.
Mm-hmm. You see a trend here? And you know who coined the term cold fusion to discredit it?
Stephen Jones?
Yes.
Oh, well. Okay, so you're saying that not only are you saying that these weapons exist, they've been developed, they're using 0-point energy or some kind of free energy source, but you're also saying now, if I'm correct, and I'm trying to work through this logically, that
if you have trouble,
hold on, let me get to the point. Okay. Many proponents of, if you like, the truth movement are dissembling deliberately to avoid revealing this big set of secrets.
It doesn't take many people. Folks within an organization tend to follow the leader of the organization, and there's undoubtedly a lot of well-meaning people following that.
I'm sure you're right. I'm sure a lot of people in the truth movement who accept the theories of nanothermite, if you like, are well-meaning, good people who look at the obvious fallacies in the official version of events.
If you think about it, the official story was a psychological operation. It was very well planned. Do you think they just forgot to plan a cover-up?
So this is their limited hangout, is it? The limited hangout is, okay, it wasn't the planes didn't do it, and nothing hit Building 7.
There are going to be people who come along who realize that, so you need someplace else for them to go.
So the limited hangout is that it is that, you know, okay, if you don't accept version 1, we'll give you version 2.
Yeah.
Because we want to protect.
And if you don't like version 2, we'll give you version 1. If you have a false choice.
Is there a version 3? Is there a limited hangout?
Well, there seems to be some backups for that. But if you, instead of following some sort of scenario that someone else is giving you, what I prefer to do, and what the aim of my book has been, is to empower the reader to understand for themselves instead of having to follow anybody. This is just evidence. If you look at the evidence will tell you exactly what happened. The buildings turned to dust.
So, I mean, that's the safest place to be, isn't it? Just looking at the evidence. Not, I mean, you've made some certain conclusions, and I know, and it's kind of, it puts you in a vulnerable position. It means you can easily be attacked by those who have a mind to do that.
But no one has refuted what is in my book.
And it's a massive, massive, massive book of...
And none of it has been refuted.
Not a single thing. Not
a single thing.
No one said, but this is wrong.
Correct.
You hadn't had to make any revision or say, no, there's a little bit wrong there.
Because I've only talked about what is there, what is actually there, the evidence.
Okay, I see old Paul Lovelace is at it again, so let's just quickly shut his mouth with something that I can quickly give him here from the...
I just hide him. I can't stand like he's acting dumb all this time. It's like we know what's going on here. There's multiple SCM tests have been done on the samples, and Hutchinson's going to be on the live stream in a few in next month, so it's going to be pretty epic stuff. And also, if you have time, someone asked a question. I was going to ask it later. Someone asked a question to you. Says so Paul Laevin says so he says, and question for Revisionist, who is also killing it in the Substacks. I saw you promote a panel discussion on 9/11 by Dutch political party Forum for Democracy. Did you catch it? I don't know what that means.
Yes, I watched it. It was they had Adam Eisenberg on there. Yes,
right.
He basically ended up getting on there because germ warfare is part of that panel. He's friends with Thierry Boudet or something or other from the Netherlands. I might have the name incorrect, but that's after Adam Eisenberg got onto the podcast with Germ, then Germ introduced them. So I'm just looking for this other video quickly here with regards to the weird stuff on the Hutchinson stuff. Let's just see if I've got it here. I think it's this one. Let's quickly just have a look. That might be the full one. Where is it now? Because there's a whole section where they talk about. Damn it! I haven't got it right now. Just to put Paul Lovelace. Here it is. Paul Lovelace, eat your heart.
For very strange effects. Such effects were noticed first by John Hutchison in his laboratory, even though he didn't attribute them to this technology, and it is known today as the Hutchison effect. He showcased remarkable effects, including lifting, embedding of materials, and metal transmutation. While some claim his videos are fraudulent, the anomalous metal samples produced are available for analysis. Metal extrusion and transmutation effects are notably less commonly debunked. And what is very interesting is that there are fascinating similarities between the anomalous effects observed in the metal samples obtained by John Hutchison and some very ancient ones found in megalithic stone sites. Here is a physicist and professional engineer, George Hathaway, discussing the analysis he conducted on one of Hutchison's anomalous metal samples.
The other thing that is significant about this is that if you examine it closely, you can see bits of copper that have come out of solution, in my opinion. I mean, it was an alloy with copper, but the alloying elements did not suddenly sort of come out of solution and congeal into blobs of the alloy element. It comes out as copper. In this case, there's probably molybdenum and some other alloying elements that are certainly impossible to see with the naked eye if they're well alloyed. But only under circumstances that I'm holding here have I ever seen blobs of the alloying element.
See it.
Yes, actually somehow migrate out of solution and into a blob that is big enough to see.
Right.
And that happens at the grain boundaries, as we found in some of the analyses of these things too.
It is intriguing how this effect bears resemblance to certain ancient occurrences, such as these pictograms discovered during 2012's geophysical expedition in Peru on a large carved stone called Chincana at Kenco. What appears to be a white paint on the stone actually turns out to be anomalous pictograms created using an unidentified technique. The pictograms formed by white crystal inclusions within the stone's structure that seems like it migrated and self-organized on the surface. Upon closer examination, one can see that the writing is extremely ancient and gives the impression that quartz crystals were somehow moved to form a pattern or writing, somewhat similar to how copper separated itself from the alloy and formed clusters in the Hutchison sample. These anomalies in metal and stone share similarities, which could indicate common features of this technology and should be investigated further. However, metal and stone are very different materials. How can it be similar then?
But also, John Hutchison found that even non-magnetic materials became magnetic. But more interestingly, is that this looks like the same kind of effect, but imbued onto a structure that has lasted for a very long time. And the thing that I know, it's not necessarily just magnetics. In my view, exotic vacuum objects can stay, as Shoulders said, indefinitely in materials, particularly metals. And there is metals in basalt.
Basalt is a volcanic rock that is comparatively rich in iron and magnesium and quartz. Granite is a rock that is rich in quartz and feldspar. And in the Andes, we have a specific one, andesite rocks that consist essentially of feldspar and one or more ferromagnetic compounds. What do you find in quartz? Quartz is a mineral made up of oxide of silicon, while feldspars are a group of minerals containing aluminum and silicon that forms rocks. Silicon is a semi-metal. To use this technology, all that is required is resonance with the silicon and oxygen found in quartz. All of such materials seem compatible with EVO-based technology. This would theoretically allow softening the stone, precision cutting, and transportation of any weight. The current
So that gives you an idea. Go to the Martin Fleischmann Project. They've got a video playlist discussing John Hutchison's work. I think there's something like 240 videos with regards to that. So if anybody's interested, just go do a little bit of homework, man. And don't just Google a person's name and take the first dismissive article for a fact, because we're living in a information war. So come on, Paul, let's get with the bloody program, please. Getting back to the UFO guys and old Steven Greer, what you've got to listen to, he had an interview with Sean Ryan on his YouTube channel. It's linked in this link. He also had Colonel John Alexander on, who worked with John Hutchison and actually paid John Hutchison to come replicate his experiments that he went and looked at in 1983 at his own home, and then in 86 he gave him a full lab with all the equipment and stuff that he needed, and it's discussed in various aspects. And the interview with John Alexander was like 5 hours long. I've got links to shorter clips of like 20 minutes and then links to the full 5-hour interview where he was talking about all the weird and wonderful black op stuff that he was involved with for 30 years. And Steven Greer himself has been been at it for 30 years. But again, John Alexander worked with Hutchinson and confirmed the glowing of metals, the levitation effects, all of that, the glowing of metals that are cold to the touch, and all of that. But Steven Greer is the gentleman who just doesn't want to go to 9/11. But if you've done your research on scalar waves, electromagnetics, RF weapons that Colonel Tom E. Bearden discussed in detail, and then the magnetic electrogravitic nuclear reactions that Greer mentioned, Dr. Wood also mentioned, and you then listen to interviews that they give, you get these small little snippets where you can actually connect the dots. So listen to what he's got to say in this short clip out of the, I think it was a 2.5 hour, close to 3 hour interview that he gave.
You know, where little David's up against an enormous Goliath. And nevertheless, you know, the truth, if people want the truth, Gloria Steinem said, the truth will set you free, but first it'll piss you off. But it's time for people to, you know, actually realize that this is something they have to take seriously. So now if you add those capabilities to holographic capability, scalar weapon capability, space-time systems where you can alter the flow of space-time in an area, which gets into some really, at the CIA they call this WSFM, weird science and frickin' magic. My uncle's company, I met an engineer that dealt with this stuff a couple years ago, and he said, we just call it PFM, pure fucking magic, excuse my language, but he says literally that's what we call it. So you're dealing with technologies that are, and this is the problem, I call it the big technology gap between what conventional Pentagon, Special Forces, Joint Staff, Senate Intel, Armed Services, House Intel, the President, National Security people, what they know and what this group has. So what they know, it's like this is, you know, just to make this real for people, when I was briefing years ago, the admiral in charge of J2, Joint Intelligence for Joint Chiefs of Staff, Admiral Wilson, and that memo leaked out where he was debriefed by Dr. Davis, and everyone went, oh my God. And it states, you know, I was there for a stand-up briefing, and what they don't know is that at the end of it, I asked the admiral to help us get to this is 97, this is 26 years ago. And he said, well, I don't know how I'm going to help with something when the best technology I can deploy, we can deploy, is the B-2 stealth. And this other group have objects that can do circles around the B-2 stealth. And he acknowledged that to me. I said, well, that doesn't mean you can't. He says, well, I can't unless it's authorized. I said, well, where do you need the authorization? Well, he felt he needed authorization from the SecDef, who had already been waived off, and the president, which was Clinton at the time, who had also, I have a very interesting story since I saw you, but we knew that Clinton had been approached by George H.W. Bush and told, butt out, this is none of your business, dealing with the UFO issue. Because this was one of the very first things Clinton wanted to know about, because I knew people who lived at the White House with him. You know, he was very keen on getting to the bottom of it, but the efforts he launched were torpedoed, and he eventually backed off of it. But,
interesting.
Yeah, I know that whole story. It's an ugly story of corruption and power being abused.
Okay, but guys and gals, but did you just hear what he had to say with regards to flying circles around the technology that we have? Now, at the moment, somebody is getting a lot of traction and talking about all these scalar waves and all of that kind of stuff, and he's talking about Colonel Tom Bearden, and today he's been posting stuff about voice-to-skull technology and all these weird and wonderful, and the Havana syndrome and everything. And his little claim to fame is now the disappearance of the MH370 plane in 2014. Now, at the same time, when that plane disappeared, we had Dr. Morgan Reynolds, who's going to be on the podcast soon, who also sued NIST for the plane impact studies. They were having a discussion with regards to the planes on 9/11. They were also discussing, they also mentioned MH370. Now, if you look at this article that I wrote, Planes on 9/11 Facing Reality, No More Games, Time to Face the Cold Hard Facts, this basically goes into the work of Richard D. Hall, Dr. Morgan, and also Andrew Johnson. Unfortunately, they didn't have Mark Conlon there because he's the one person who was missing. And this is their discussion. It's around about an hour long, but we're not going to listen to all of it now. I just want to play the first minute of the introduction so you can see who the people were who were taking on the military-industrial complex, who were doing great work. And it's superb. So let's just quickly listen to the people who were having a discussion with Dr. Morgan Reynolds, who will be on the podcast in 2 weeks' time.
I've got three guests on the line. First, we have John Lear, who once held 17 aviation world speed records, including the shortest time around the world in a Learjet. He's got 20,000 hours of flight time in multi-engine jets. He is a founding member of pilotsfor911truth.com. Welcome back, John Lear.
Thank you, Morgan.
And then we have from the UK, two sharp analysts. We have Andrew Johnson. I call him the voice of reason from the UK. Visit his site, checktheevidence.com. Welcome back, Andrew.
Great to be here with you and John and our next guest, Morgan. Thank you for inviting me.
And finally, we have Richard D. Hall, who is a TV talk show host in the UK. He's a researcher, and I'd call him a citizen investigator. Visit his site, richplanet.net. Welcome back, Rich.
Thanks for having me back on the show, Morgan.
Let's go to, before we go to...
So please go through this article, listen to the conversation that they had. Here's the paperwork that was submitted. You can also go download it. And again, you got to watch 9/11 Alchemy Facing Reality if you haven't watched it yet. Here's an important update that we got from Mark Conlon. I already discussed with you that you need to go check out what he's pumping out on his Substack now, and the interview that he had with Germ Warfare the other day. So let's go back to discussing the UFO guys. So another little gem of what Steven Greer dropped about technologies and everything that was already being developed in the 1950s and 60s.
Weird stuff. All right, so the high end of the WSFM is this sort of thing, but that can be used in a deceptive indication and warning. It can be used in a way that everyone on planet Earth would think that it's alien, and it isn't.
I see what you mean.
Okay, so this is the real danger in all of this not being disclosed and known, particularly by policymakers and the government and Pentagon and all these folks, is that they're not going to be able, they're going to be so easily gaslit and deceived by people presenting all kinds of phenomena, plural, as extraterrestrial when it isn't, because they have mastered the ability of this, what's called stagecraft. That's literally what it's called in some circles. And this gets back to this whole question of Project Bluebeam, where they could stage. But what their capabilities are way beyond what most people think they are. And I began working with some of these geniuses back in the early 90s that I met who in late 1950s and 60s had figured this out. So the electronics and the very high-end electromagnetic field systems that can do this were unpacked pretty well by between 1955 and 1965, in that a decade.
So yeah, coming into the 1950s and 60s, we've discussed this previously in the 5-hour marathon, is the limited hangout that David Icke is, and how he mentioned the technology from the 50s and 60s. We also listened to Dean Warwick, who also confirmed that, and then ended up dying suddenly during a presentation that he was giving. So either refer back to the previous presentation that I gave, or go read this article and listen to that. So I also think that we've got close to 50 people in the live stream. So if all of you guys email the Sean Ryan guy and his podcast and have them either have Dr. Wood on or Andrew Johnson, then hopefully we can get the people to wake up. So now we're getting back to Ashton Forbes and his whole MH370 that he's talking about. He's also talking about Colonel John Alexander. He's talking about all the technologies with regards to that. And so why is he so scared of going into 9/11 and basically linking that to one another? And what we do have to remember is when you do interact with a bunch of people, they'll come with the whole space beams and all of that. Dr. Wood actually discusses that on her FAQ page. And initially she wrote a paper called Star Wars Beam Weapons, because in 1989 you had the whole Star Wars program running. A lot of people didn't know about DEWS, and she basically used that wording in order to put people's attention onto that black ops type technology that people didn't understand. So she basically goes into stating this term was used because it's a familiar term that has been used for the last 20 plus years to describe weaponry under the development as part of the Strategic Defense Initiative. Since little is known about the technology specifically, through numerous articles and defense websites describes its existence, plus the fact that hundreds of billions of dollars have been channeled to research in this area, it is reasonable to expect that tremendous advances have been made in technology over the past 50 years since the microwaves and lasers were first developed. The title was later changed to Star Wars Directed Energy Weapons, brought to you by the Star Wars program. The other popular strawman distraction term is obviously space beams, as I mentioned. She also covers the whole space beam hypothesis, and that is also been brought in by Dr. Stephen E. Jones, and we also know what a limited hangout he was. He was working for the Department of Energy, trying to keep people away from knowing that there's cleaner energy out there that we can use. So read this article, go to Dr. Wood's FAQ page, get to know it so you can talk to people and just wake them up. There's also a refutation of Gage's game where he was trying to debunk directed energy weapons way back in 2008, and in 2023 he ended up being on a panel discussion along with Andrew Johnson, and all the people on the panel saw right through Richard Gage as well. So getting back to our alien scientist, which we mentioned earlier today, this is a conversation where Pete Santilli was talking to the alien scientist Jeremy Rice, and he ended up also discussing the interaction with Dr. Wood later on, and you'll find this rather interesting. So let's just have a quick listen to this so that you can know what kind of disinformation, ad hominems and everything has been thrown at Dr. Wood, instead of people in the UFO sphere that are actually pushing the same types of technology, but they don't want to admit that that same technology was used on 9/11. So the truth movement, media, and the alternative media did not support or even talk about Dr. Wood's court case. There were no crowds of truther journalists outside the courthouse in New York City making sure it got media attention. This meant the judge was able to ignore the law, and he also said that in the court papers. Most truthers are still not aware that the independent investigation they want so bad has already been carried out and used to sue NIST for science fraud. As you saw in part 1, AE 911 members do not talk about Dr.
But you know what? We were able to get through some very important questions. And I kept it to the best of my ability to facts and evidence with him. And quite frankly, I was kind of shocked to hear his admission that despite his opposition to your work, he has never even read your work.
Right. He kind of backed himself in a corner, with whatever you want to call it, a cyanide capsule. I shouldn't put it that way, but he was painting himself in a corner he couldn't get out of. It was pretty sad. That was the most shocking part. The actual admission that he wasn't reviewing the evidence. Also, what I found really shocking is I didn't count how many times. I just listened to the show once, but you could go back and count. How many times did you correct him on space beams, laser beams from space, ray beams from space, that type of thing?
Oh, yeah.
About a dozen?
Oh, at least.
Maybe at least a half a dozen, if not more.
Well, he was, and I am being overly dramatic when I say he was forcefully injecting that word, and there were certain words that he was trying to put in everyone's minds. And I said, okay, what is he attempting to do here? And it's pretty consistent with the general thing. I guess they're all reading from the same script.
Right. They have a list of talking points and sound bites that they spiel off as they've memorized that they are to insert. Another thing that you didn't catch that he almost tripped you up on, you didn't repeat it, but you didn't reject it either. But it's something that subconsciously goes into the listener's head. You were talking about the towers turning to dust in midair. He would repeat what you said with the word replaced with dust replaced with vaporize.
Oh, vaporize. Oh, okay.
And Stephen Jones does that, and Greg Jenkins has done that.
And lastly, we have the hypothesis championed by Dr. Judy Wood, a violent opponent of the nanothermite evidence, who instead insists that the towers were vaporized to dust. And
that's the one thing I am most pleased with myself about in that setup deal that Greg Jenkins did, that each time he replaced turn to dust with vaporize, I called him on it. As tired as I was, that was I'm proud of myself for that. He kept trying to slither it in there.
Will involve, I guess the term you use is dustification of metal, or I guess another way you could get rid of it.
Trying to invent a new word.
Is yeah, might as well, right?
Poof, yeah.
Or the vaporization of the metal in the towers, one or the other.
The reason, and I even state in my book why that is not, alien scientist tries to present that as a more scientific-y, word, but it's incorrect. It's incorrect to use a word with specific meaning and apply it to something that it does not, where it's not applicable.
Right.
The buildings were not vaporized. Vaporization implies heat. You know how you make a vapor over, steam?
Right. That's right.
High heat to vaporize metals or whatever. The building was turned to dust by a not high heat process. So vaporization is inappropriate for a term. So why this big effort to insert vaporization?
I mean, I can't believe people kept recommending her to me. Yeah. It's a joke. Her book is a joke. It's mostly padding. She thinks, she thinks that there was this beam weapon pointed at the Twin Towers that somehow vaporized the steel.
This is a slick thing because most people don't realize that difference. So if they start repeating my work saying, oh, she says it was vaporized, the person is innocent motives. They just don't realize the difference between turning to dust and vaporization. That right there, whatever they say after that, it can be refuted because vaporization is inappropriate.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, that's
It's
right.
very slick maneuver, and I'm glad you didn't repeat it.
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't catch what was going on with that one. That was
very subtle,
a really slick one that he was just slithering through there, through and through. If you go back and listen to it, it's all throughout. You know, whenever you say turn to dust, he repeated it with saying vaporize.
I know. I did point out that he was speaking out of 5 sides of his mouth, and we talked. We referred to
that was true. That was true.
Yeah, he was. You know, so it's difficult to pick which words were coming out of which hole and which direction they were going. I mean, it was very. Yeah.
And there's one other one that was just kind of hilarious, is when he said a directed energy weapon could mean anything. And then he said, well, a more scientific word for it is laser. And he goes off, showing that he knows what LASER means. Mm-hmm. And so he was going to use laser. Well, that's a specific type of directed energy. Directed energy is a whole wide category. It's like kinetic energy weapons. Mm-hmm. You have bombs, you have hammers, you have wrecking balls, you have shotguns. Those are kinetic energy weapons. Building collapse. That's right. So we're talking about general categories. I haven't gotten any more specific than that. General categories. You have kinetic energy, you have thermal energy, you have directed energy.
Right. Right.
And he was just citing a specific one that is not applicable because lasers work with heat. The building was not cooked to death.
That's right.
It's another thing like vaporization. He replaced the general category with a specific, and then goes to debunking his specific.
Okay.
Well, she claims that free energy gizmo powered the laser beam from space.
Yeah.
And which is totally incorrect. I'll say right now what the title of my book means. It shows evidence of what happened on 9/11. That evidence shows a technology was used that we haven't seen before, but that technology doesn't have to be used to destroy buildings. That same technology can be used for good and can be used to provide free energy to the world. So what technology was demonstrated on 9/11, the evidence from that is also evidence that free energy technology exists.
That's right, and I understand that. And at no point in time in this presentation, I mean, even given by all of the other, like alien scientists or anyone, they want to scare us. They want to say these evil people, these terrible people, they're using this, that, they're blowing up buildings. Alex Jones used the term directed energy technology, Tesla, Star Wars, laser beams. Oh my God, they're going to blow it up. And look at a picture of this mounted on a military vehicle. When in fact, he could say, guess what? Free energy technology exists. It was used on 9/11. It can actually be used to free us from enslavement.
Exactly. And
right.
What it takes is for us, and there's two sides of looking at the evidence. The evidence is what identifies what technology was used, not the name of it, not the serial number, not what the operator had for breakfast, but what it does. The evidence defines what technology was used. Mm-hmm. And if you learn to look at that evidence, you can identify and recognize next time when that same technology is used, and that's going to deter that from being used for evil in the future. And what it also will do is set a sort of a backdrop. If everyone knows this technology exists, people who've been trying to develop free energy technology in the secrecy of their basement and being suicided, they can now develop it in the light of day because it'll be known that it's not something that needs to be suppressed anymore because everybody already knows.
Right. That's right.
If somebody cannot refute, and they can't refute any of the stuff I present in my book, right. Or in my case, even the defense in my legal case couldn't. Mm-hmm. They instead represented, distorted, so they're promoting propaganda, and then they try to refute their own propaganda, like space beams and so forth.
She thinks that there was this beam weapon pointed at the Twin Towers that somehow vaporized the steel, and the evidence that she has for it is that a few people in the World Trade Center who were stuck above the fires took off their tops.
Okay.
Yeah, so her idea is that the sweat from the tops was getting excited by the beam weapon that made the tops really hot, so they took their tops off.
Okay, right.
That's the evidence that she has.
Evidence, yeah.
And please pardon me, I am a very proud meat and potatoes layman, right? Which most of us are here on the planet. We're suffering from this free energy technology that's being used against us. We have to understand it. But when I ask a scientist, okay, alien scientist, he's a physicist who claims to be educated.
He claims to be a physicist, but he for some reason doesn't want us to know if or where he graduated.
But how could you, Dr. Judy Wood, how could you look at somebody like that and say, okay, you have debunked and you have gone after Dr. Judy Wood's information that you haven't even seen? How is that possible in the scientific community? Is that even possible?
It sort of falls under malicious defamation.
Wow. Wow, that powerful, that blatant.
Yep.
One woman who wrote this book trying to convince everyone that it's space lasers that brought down the World Trade Center.
Okay, so he's literally made a YouTube career debunking you. And it's based on what? On fabrications? He's never, and he admitted, I've never seen the Ketam case, and I've never read the book Where Did the Towers Go? And I've asked him, well, how could you debunk what you haven't seen? In so many words, didn't I? I think I did it polite enough.
Exactly. I just posted a link in the window, in the Skype window. If you might want to read the title of that article.
Okay. Yeah, I was really, really disturbed by that, and then at the same time, kind of relieved. Like, well, yes, in fact, this guy is just intending to psyop. I mean, it was pretty obvious. Reviewers, beware. Beware, you can get sued. So you think that it's just outright defamation, and yeah.
Some of the cases I've been reading about are, like somebody is just wants to get back at somebody else, so they post a bad review.
Yeah.
That is clearly incorrect. Mm-hmm. And you see some of the amounts there, $750,000.
Yeah.
The poster was charged. The buildings were not vaporized. Vaporization implies heat.
And lastly, we have the hypothesis championed by Dr. Judy Wood, a violent opponent of the nanothermite evidence, who instead insists that the towers were vaporized to dust.
The buildings were not vaporized. Vaporization implies heat.
Will involve, I guess the term you use is dustification of metal, or the vaporization of the metal in the towers, one or the other.
The buildings were not vaporized. Vaporization implies heat.
She thinks that there was this beam weapon pointed at the Twin Towers that somehow vaporized the steel.
The buildings were not vaporized. Vaporization implies heat. Also, because of the evidence of lack of high heat, you can eliminate the explanation of some kind of thermal energy weapon as the mechanism of destruction. So that right there eliminates laser beams from space.
Dr. Wood says maybe there's a beam of laser or microwave from space or something that came down and...
So that right there eliminates laser beams from space.
One of Dr. Wood's hypotheses is a space-based weapon powered by free energy, another undocumented and unproven phenomenon. Given the time windows separating each of the destruction events at the World Trade Center, these couldn't have come from a single satellite-based weapon in regular orbit. So either there's two of these massive satellites orbiting Earth, or they had one in geostationary orbit over the equator firing a beam down at a steep angle over lower Manhattan.
So yeah, that is the misinformation, disinformation, misconstrued talking points and everything that is being perpetuated by all these people trying to debunk her instead of actually discussing the evidence that she presents. So, and also if you take into consideration the new article that Andrew Johnson just posted with the person that noticed all those weird antennas and lights going off it gives you the idea that the field effects, like John Hutchinson managed to do with a localized, ground-based, or on top of a building, is plausible. Obviously, Dr. Wood never went into where it is, what the operator had for breakfast or anything like that, but we saw what the effects was and where the evidence points to. So going on in this article, the main thing why people don't really want to get into the free energy type of stuff, and that pulls back to Dean Warwick and how he was taken out. Also the fact that 3 people close to Dr. Wood was also taken out when she initially filed a court case in 2007. We need to go back into the whole story when people come in and they want to bring free energy to the masses, what ends up happening to them. Also, just to get back to where this video came from, it is from the Observable Evidence series. It's got a whole bunch of different parts. I think it's in total, there's the 9/11 Essential Guide, that's an hour long. And then you've got Liars for Truth, that basically debunks all the Dr. Wood debunkers. And then there is a full-on 10-hour series. I had it on my YouTube channel, but it got nuked. But MES does have the whole series on his channel, so just go into his playlist on 9/11 and you can find the whole series there. It was sent to Andrew Johnson anonymously. Excellent work. And what I've basically done is I've taken snippets out of all that content that the guys brought, and I'm sharing that because that's currently what's waking people up to what actually happened on 9/11. But let's get back to what happens to you if you figured out how to be freed from the power socket in your house and the expensive gas that you've got to use to heat your home, or the gas that you put into your car, and the whole bloody climate change psyop that's also happening. So let's listen to what will happen to you if you try and follow in the footsteps of Nikola Tesla.
It would seem that whoever comes close to getting free energy to work, they suddenly come down with a case of severe bad luck. Stefan Marinov was the leader of the European free energy movement. In 1997, he made tremendous strides in the technology. Before he could develop his first prototype, he fell out of a window. Dr. John Mullen, a nuclear physicist, used to work for McDonnell Douglas, one of the largest military contractors in the world. He died of arsenic poisoning in 2004. His girlfriend was originally a suspect, but she was found dead in her apartment shortly after. There are no more suspects, there is no investigation, there will be no trial. Dmitry Petronov invented a plasma battery that powered his home for 14 months. In 2010, he went to a bakery and was never seen again. Zachary Warfield was another inventor who developed his own plasma battery. Warfield visited Petronov to exchange information. That same year, Warfield died in a strange boating accident in Washington, D.C. Eugene Malov was a physicist and expert in cold fusion. He claimed he had a working prototype of a free energy device. In 2004, the day before he was to make a public announcement about his findings, he was beaten to death. Ari DeGos actually patented free.
All right. Do you have it muted or?
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
So Malov's nephew was working alongside Dr. Wood. He was actually a student of Dr. Wood, and he was trying to work on proving that aluminium can glow orange in daylight, and he ended up getting taken out with a so-called robbery gone wrong. So Malov got beaten to death in his house, at his house, and Dr. Wood's student got taken out as well. So strange things were happening around Dr. Wood in 2007 when she filed her case. So let's get back to what happens to you if you want to bring free energy to the world.
Energy technology based on the zero-point field. In 2007, he was about to get on a flight to meet investors who were going to fund his research. He was found dead in his car at the airport. Rory Johnson created a cold fusion laser-activated magnetic motor that generated over 500 horsepower. He planned a public demonstration of 4 vehicles equipped with this magnetron motor. The U.S. Department of Energy placed a restraining order on this technology, preventing publication. And though in excellent health, he died unexpectedly soon after. Mark Tomian, a physicist, patented technology called a star drive, which uses zero-point energy, very similar to the ARV. In 2009, he developed a working prototype. Shortly after, he died from an unexpected cardiac event. His research is missing. Stan Myers developed a working engine that ran on water. In 1997, he died from what was officially reported as a cerebral hemorrhage. This happened while having lunch with 2 potential investors. His last words were, "I was poisoned." Most of this episode comes from a documentary created by James Allen. He ruffled a lot of feathers doing his research, specifically at Lockheed Martin.
I actually called a spokesman at Lockheed and asked her straight up. I'm like, so what's going on with your electrogravitics program? And she's like, well, we're not at liberty to discuss those programs. And I'm like, really? Why not? And she's like, well, it might threaten our competitive advantage. And I really wish I'd gotten that on film or tape. Because my next documentary, Tom, are you listening? I want to do a sort of a investigative documentary on specifically on anti-gravity in the aerospace industry.
While still editing the film, before it was even released, James Allen was diagnosed with an aggressive form of cancer. He was dead in 3 months. That interview clip I showed was from 6 weeks before his cancer diagnosis. Did he look sick to you? Even Mark McCandlish was afraid.
You've actually heard a couple different stories about people being shut down when they're trying to implement this thing.
Or killed. Yeah. I mean, there's many times I lay awake at night with my 9mm under my pillow, loaded, and I wonder why they haven't killed me. And I honestly did.
This past April, Mark was found dead in his apartment.
Yeah, so it's not just that guy that got taken out in his house or whatever. In, I think it was 2012 or somewhere over there, Jesse Ventura did this whole expose on the death ray linked to 9/11, which I also think is just a very, very stupid way of bringing Dr. Wood to the foreground. There was another gentleman who was a whistleblower talking about the technology of being able to dustify whole buildings. And after he had his interview with Jesse Ventura, like 2 days afterwards, he also keeled over and died. And then that relates back to the gentleman that we talked to previously with Andrew Johnson's presentation in 2012. That gentleman and the lady that was mentioned ended up doing a documentary trying to discredit Jesse Ventura and stating that they were using his sudden unexplainable heart attack death as a way to get clickbait and everything. So sorry, you'll see that there is a lot of disinformation and counter narratives running, bringing us back to why the guys don't want to discuss 9/11. We need to listen to what these gentlemen have to say about the work of Dr. Wood. And this is all in the early days. And this is something that people need to realize about the importance of this book and what she's pointed out. Remember, people, it's evidence. It's the book is full of evidence. And she's not making any claims. She's just telling you this happened, this happened, this happened, this can't be explained, this can't be explained due to any thermal or kinetic mechanism or due to a structural failure, aka collapse, or anything like that that the people are talking about. So this is the importance. This is what she's been trying to bring to the attention and to the world for the last 20 years. And luckily now we're in a situation where there's a lot more online chatter with regards to the technology, but people are still compartmentalized, or what's the bloody right English term here, into their small little spheres, and instead of everybody coming together and then just linking everything up. That's the problem that I've got with Steven Greer, alien scientist, never mind alien scientist that's pushing the bloody bullshit thermite stuff, and Ashton Forbes that just doesn't want you to discuss 9/11, and I'll show you the screenshots from our X interactions. He's unfortunately blocked MES, but for one other reason he hasn't blocked me. He initially blocked me, but then unblocked me, and now we're having interactions, but he's still denying the link to the technology to 9/11. But here we go. This is the importance of Dr. Wood's work.
We stand at the dawn of an entirely new age. By all evidence, man has in his hands a method of disrupting the molecular basis for matter.
Judy Wood's evidence in her case leads to one irrefutable, brilliant, clear conclusion: that the 9/11 events were done by the use of free energy devices.
This is the big one. Dr. Judy Wood, what she's got on the table, it's the big one. It is the big one of the last 4,000 years of history.
A Copernican moment, or a moment that's equivalent of the church trials of Galileo. What is being shown here is a paradigmatic change of equivalent enormity.
If we can see that energy demonstrated destructively right in front of our eyes, just imagine what could be done with it if it were turned to peaceful purposes.
The energy question is fundamental to everything. Once you have free energy, you can have as much clean water as you need, you can build as taller buildings as you need, you can have whatever propulsion systems that you need.
If we have free energy, abundant energy for as much as anybody wants, somebody can use 10 times as much as the next person. It doesn't matter. Why fight about anything? There's no reason to even have wars. Much less have to annihilate anybody.
No need for silly jobs anymore. They wouldn't be necessary. Everybody would have all the heat and cooling and fuel and light and electricity they ever needed free. So society would have this paradigm-shattering shift.
It will completely transform the nature of our society. It will change the whole geopolitical structure of the world. It is the single most dangerous thing to the existing status quo, is the energy issue.
It's my understanding that Nikola Tesla, 100 years ago, knew about this and knew that it could provide free energy to the world. But he also knew it could fall into the wrong hands and be used for evil purposes. So he didn't release it.
Some say that all the patents and all the knowledge has disappeared.
The risk that Tesla foresaw has been demonstrated.
The good news in this, been there, done that. It's already been used for evil purposes. So why not use it for good? The risk is not there anymore.
This is the moment for our civilization to claim that technology and find it and bring it out.
We don't have large-scale use of free energy technology, even though we know from this evidence that it's possible.
Right now, when people develop free energy technology in the secrecy of their basement, they're suicided, something happens to them.
Almost universally, these devices disappear.
Developing something individually, one by one in your basement, isn't going to go anywhere.
A key factor in getting to the solution is 9/11.
Before 2001, people believed there was free energy technology available, but didn't have the conclusive evidence. It was always a vague feeling in your mind. Now, all you got to do is look at it. That's it. That's the biggest proof you're ever going to get, that it exists, and it exists on a very big scale.
9/11 proves the existence of free energy technology on this planet.
And 9/11 demonstrated that more clearly to more people, if you study the evidence, than anything else. Not many people have heard of Nikola Tesla in the wider scheme of things, but just about everyone in the world has heard of 9/11. So it's very, very dangerous to connect these ideas of 9/11 and the energy issue together and talk about the evidence which connects them.
Free energy technology does exist. If that is known wide enough, everyone can develop it out in the open.
Stop listening to the physicists and scientists who come out and tell us point blank in an authoritative manner that free energy physics and free energy technology is impossible.
Just open your eyes and look. Look at what happened. There's no denying free energy technology exists.
Due to 9/11 and due to what you have shown about 9/11, giving proof to the entire world that this energy exists, you've changed the odds of the game.
If half the world read my book, you bet everything would change. It would undermine the power structure in all ways.
We have been provided by a fuse to blow the 9/11 riddle right open so that it blows a hole in the human psyche and we can move out of psychosis into a sane way of life. And the fuse is lit and it's burning. And that fuse is the work of Dr. Judy Wood.
We can live happily and fruitfully and productively, or we can destroy the planet and die. Every last one of us, along with every living being on this planet. The important thing is for us to realize we have a choice and to help others realize that choice is ours.
Okay, so coming in for a landing real quick. Just want to quickly have you guys just take note of this article of mine. Secret super weapons and 9/11, scalar electromagnetics, RF weapons and weather modification. It's an extension on my Hurricane Erin article with a bunch of links to all the other technologies and everything. Also mentions Tesla's experiments with scalar wave technology, goes into Tom Bearden, and this is just a quick small little clip that we need to listen to with regards to a 1985 CNN investigative report on RF weaponry before CNN basically sold out to the woke mob.
Bearden believes that these satellite photographs are of mysterious non-nuclear explosions near an uninhabited island in the East Siberian Sea, and that they are discharges from an RF weapon that uses intersecting energy beams called scalars.
In doing so, you can create, for example, either an electromagnetic explosion at a distance, or you can create an electromagnetic implosion at a distance, the extraction of energy from a distant point. This would look like a cold explosion, so to speak. Or you can create an electromagnetic implosion at a distance, the extraction of energy from a distant point. This would look like a cold explosion, so to speak. This would look like a cold explosion, so to speak.
And that's an epic edit done by MES. Kudos for that, dear sir. And you can go through this rest of this article. Here you've got Colonel Tom E. Bearden talking about his perpetual motion machines and everything that he tried to get patented. How it didn't happen. He also talks about how evil the scientists are and how they backstab one another to keep the funding going. Then you've got two talks that Bearden gave with regards to all the technology. It goes into Dishins, the guy who predicts earthquakes and all of that kind of stuff. Very, very interesting article. And then something that Reality Access, he's on YouTube, mentioned is a 2016 US military advert showing very, very strange targeted molecular dissociation. So showing you what they're capable of in plain sight, yes or no?
It's not just the ships. Your honor. It's the will and determination to win. Found inside each human being. Answers nations call. It's the will to fight and determination to win. Found inside each and every man that answers a nation's call.
Where did all the rubble go in this video? Where is it?
And also, where's the high heat? They're just walking on it.
Yeah, precisely. So that ad was 9 years ago. So why would they even put something like that in a US military ad? Because if it's complete and utter hogwash and they can't do it, and what else is the US military up to? And this is an article from 2023, 1st of May. That's like a year and 2 months ago. DARPA is developing a global laser beam wireless energy transfer network to provide near uninterruptible power supply to US forces worldwide. And it says, DARPA is making Nikola Tesla's dream of wireless energy a reality. So come on, people. They basically putting it right in front of our faces of what they can do. And now we've got this Ashton Forbes guy, and people are basically calling him out. What you can see here, the one gentleman, this guy has got a following of like 100,000 people or something. Ashton has also grown to 120,000, where they say free energy is real. He said, yes, it is. Same technology that ate up the towers. And then he just says, I avoid the 9/11 stuff, but Jews are absolutely real. And then I call him out by saying, you avoid the 9/11 stuff, but are you afraid you might be cancelled or worse? Or we all not wanted to bring the ether back to free ourselves from enslavement? You guys can go follow him or just go check out what's going on in the comment sections. I then gave him a video of 1989 in the Panama invasion, the directed energy weapons that have been being played with since 1983, Dean Warwick's testimony in 2006 before he died, Dr. Wood's legal case, even people following me, following him, are calling him out. Ashton, love you, bro, but this is spot on. Massive respect for you and fiercely taking things this far, but now that very logically makes you the man take it further. The technology is in the same and the agencies behind it are likely the same. Common bro, please. And then what he basically stated in February this year already is, how do you defeat somebody who can turn skyscrapers to dust, completely erase whole neighborhoods in the afternoon and steal a burning Boeing mid-air? Someone who, when needed, has the complete control of all media and crafts and the perception of events and has most of humanity eating from its hands. Isn't that what happened on 9/11? Now, Ashton, why don't you want to discuss what happened on 9/11? Steven Greer, why don't you want to do that? Alien scientists, and then the people that Andrew Johnson called out 12 years ago. Then I got him onto John Hutchinson's stuff, and he said he's going to look at it. There is the affidavit that John submitted with Dr. Wood's QTAM case. I've showed him the presentation with regards to Tesla's technology and how that links up to the work that he's doing. He's stating that was the picture up there is with regards to the scalar waves. He said, oh, that's interesting. Then I give him the video that's 18 minutes long, and he says, thank you for that. I even played the video that we just listened to now, the DARPA stuff, the aspect with regards to the planes and the impact studies and everything, and the holographic technology. Told him about the fact that how the technology for nuclear bombs is exactly the same for directed energy weapon, and he's so like, ooh, cut it out. But dude, you confirmed, and that was 11th of April, but in February you were talking about buildings being turned to dust. Why don't you want to go there? And again, more information about Dr. Wood's presentation she did about 9/11 being the new Hiroshima. Unfortunately, again, wrong word choice, because then the guys co-opted it into trying to push some sort of nuke or buried nuke theory. So that's the way that the whole 9/11 truther movement, or anybody against it, and all the people trying to dissuade people from actually knowing that free energy technology exists. We had the demonstration on the day, and how they are trying to steer people away from actually looking at her work. Then again, directed energy is absolutely real, but he says, I'm not convinced. But dude, in February, you were asking questions about people turning buildings into dust. Again, here I take you on about levitation and all of that kind of stuff. I was getting a little bit of engagements. People are seeing it. They are basically calling me out on that. And then people who were completely and utterly against Dr. Wood, when they actually take a minute and they watch 9/11 alchemy facing reality, the people turn. This person said, I went down the rabbit hole. Thanks to you, and clearly you at work is the only full explanation. I surrender. Generally believe it now. The 9/11 alchemy facing reality video did the trick. It's really well explained. Thank you for it. Again, Ashton Forbes. Here's Tesla talking about scalar waves and interferometry and everything like that. And he agrees. But again, we are not going to talk about 9/11. And again, oh, wow, I need to look at some Dew stuff soon. It's pretty cool. And I've been hammering the guy. But he just doesn't want to go there. And then he has our little NASA pet boy from Steven Greer on. And they'll have a conversation about directed energy weapons, but he won't talk about or talk to Dr. Judy Wood. So what the fuck? Pardon my French, people. Sorry, but this is just infuriating, frustrating, and it makes you just want to tear your hair out. And I'm already grey enough. I don't want to sit without any hair. And after he made that post, I said, oh, geez, Ashton, what the hell are you doing? You want to talk about Dew? How about the only person that's actually sued the U.S. government with pointing to the cover-up of the use of Dew to kill U.S. citizens on U.S. soil? Are you also playing the role of a gatekeeper? What are you afraid of? And then I've go back to my article where Dr. Wood has been on a block list on Wikipedia. No mention of any of her work on any type of 9/11 truther page. It immediately gets taken off. So go read that article. I've got a nice video compilation with regards to Dr. Wood. That's around about 24 minutes long. That just takes you through a whole nice little journey. And again, he was talking about alien scientists and all of that kind of stuff. And I pointed out to him what a limited hangout alien scientist is. And yeah, that's pretty much me. And then we've got this one other channel or profile on X, this Illuminati bot dude, person, whatever, which I think is most probably some sort of CIA spook, controlled opposition aspect. He's done 1 or 2 or 3 posts about Dr. Wood. And again, what does he do here? How did Building 7 fall? Why was there no fuselage or bodies found in Shanksville? The author speculates. She doesn't speculate. She discusses evidence. And then he says that the destruction of the towers on 9/11 is consistent with some sort of Tesla-directed energy weapon. Outstanding pictures and research. But this channel pushes the official government counter-narrative of thermite and that kind of stuff. And whenever this channel with 1.7 followers pushes something like thermite or anything like that, within 12 hours, something like 8.5 million impressions. Same with Richard Gage at the moment. I'm blocked, so I can't see what Gage is doing. People send me screenshots, and he's getting like 1.5 million views for his bull stroke S. And I've taken Richard Gage on. I've got a number of video clips where I was asking questions in open Zoom meetings which he couldn't answer. We've got the Truth Summit from last year or whatever, where Andrew Johnson took him on directly and he got demolished. But the algorithms out there would either push the government narrative or the officially approved counter narrative. But somebody like me, who's been interacting with people, getting certain talking points to get a little bit of traction. Sometimes some of my interaction gets as much as 90,000 impressions, but the overarching initial post gets 8.5 million. So even the algorithms that's in play on Wikipedia, on YouTube, on Rumble, I can't really say because I've got a small channel. I can't really interact with people over there. And that's what we're up against. And that's what, like Steven Greer said, we are small little people up against a massive industrial complex or something like that. And that's where we are. And the only thing that we can do is everybody that's listening to this now, that's woken up, you guys need to seriously get involved and start pushing back, because the more of us that start to do this, and especially if you've done your homework and you really know what it's all about, then we can really start making a difference. And Dr. Wood, Andrew Johnson, a bunch of other people have been trying it for the last 20 years. We're sitting in a situation now where people have woken up after the COVID-19 aspects, and they've seen what's been going on with our governments, and we need to rally people. Go into the Zoom chats with the 9/11 war room. That's actually a playroom. Boston 9/11. 9/11, or Colorado for 9/11 has shut down their live talks. Tap Truth Action Project, they've shut down their live chats. Richard Gage isn't doing any more live chats. The International Center for 9/11 Justice, #suppression, is also not doing any live chats. So the institutionalized approved counter narrative to the official narrative that is actually a distraction is also feeling the heat. So personally, I think this is the year that we are going to get to the point where it's going to be more feasible, possible, that we can blow the lid off this. But the UFO guys also need to get onto the train. And unfortunately, MES and I can't do this alone. We need more people like you, everybody that's here. We've got like 40 people still, 44 people still in the live chat. And come on, make the circle bigger. Where's that song? And yeah, that's me tonight. Unfortunately, I couldn't give you guys an 8-hour thing on this. I wanted to break the last record, but yeah, I haven't got anything more to say, and I'm just a dumb African that's living in a country where we've got up to 15 hours of no rolling electricity or anything like that. So come on, people, you guys can do it. I can't sit up till 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the mornings to take these disinformation agents on. I need help. You got Matthew needs help. Come on, please. And that's me. Fluit my story is uit. Hierdie dom Afrikaner het nou niks meer om te sê nie. I haven't got anything more to say. That was me.
All right. Epic presentation. Yeah, that was great. Interactions with them and just showing just basically their tactics, how they just manipulate and slither around, as Judy Wood said. And definitely we need everyone's help. All hands on deck. Even just a reply to anyone you be, because a lot of times we're shadow banned, but if you're regular people that haven't tweeted before, you're not that shadow banned, so you could literally just go in and get exposed even just by sharing our own content, like our tweets, our posts, share them to these big channels, and then people will see them that they otherwise wouldn't have seen them. And because like I said before, all it took for me was to see the front and back cover of Judy Wood's book, and I knew right away. I'm like, all right. It's I need to, yeah, that's when I had to like go full on to see if she's right or wrong, because there's no other way about it. But then obviously she's right. All right. And so he has the presentation, and what I was going to go is I was going to go through some of the Ashton Forbes stuff that I went through. And I also asked the debunker if he wanted to join in, but I think he's probably not joining in this time, but maybe a later one on the MH370 and Ashton Forbes, the whole scenario there. Because Ashton Forbes, they might actually do a documentary on him specifically. Someone's actually working on that. Because if you ever listen to his live streams, he goes on these like these rants where he's swearing at everybody and everything. All right, Timmy Sullivan, why rally people to confront fake truthers rather than endeavor to rally people to the truth? I don't see why we need to expend efforts in wrestling matches. That too. You could do both ways, but it's a good tactic because they get huge traction. So I posted earlier. So on my Telegram, this is what it's a good way of getting people that just any kind of people. So for example, if I go here, now this let's go here. Someone shared. I remember I think I posted it somewhere.
Matthew, can I interject here real quick on that question? Because the thing is, the problem is, you've got a couple of people or people new into the 9/11 aspect, because anybody under the age of 35 pretty much doesn't have any idea of what happened on 9/11. And that's what I opened up with my last presentation about how clueless most 21, 22, 23-year-olds are at university, because they've got no bloody clue what's going on. So now you're sitting with these disinformation or the approved counter-narrative that are disinformation agents, and people end up getting into their Zoom calls, their rooms, their little enclave of talking points, and these people don't know any better. So that's what happened to me when I initially started looking into 9/11. I initially thought, yeah, this whole thermite aspect looks cool. And we've got this John Cole guy doing experiments with thermite, and he shows how a single beam got cut. But I looked at this major fire sparkler event happening, and it's blinding light, but I never put it into the whole aspect of, you've got a building that's 1,400 feet high. So if this small little experiment that you're doing on one little beam, and there were thousands and thousands and thousands of beam connections in those buildings, then if you were using thermite to take those buildings down, those buildings would have been lit up like a second sun in the middle of Manhattan. And people don't realize that because we're dumb. We want a quick answer. We want a 30-second answer to a huge question. And unfortunately, if you want to go into 9/11 with all the various talking points, the planes, the no planes, the Shanksville, the Pentagon, the this, the that, the that, the that, you are going to spend thousands of hours. That's what I've done. And I'm trying to bring it down into a quick conversation where you've got a bit of an idea so that you can do a little bit of your own homework. And that's why I've written all these articles, to break it down into small bite-sized chunks. And even if you go and study Dr. Wood's book, it's 500 pages. There is so much information in there. But once you've taken ownership of that, once you've looked at the work that Mark Conlin's done, what Andrew Johnson's done in his books that he's written, chronicling the disinformation and the politics in 9/11 since 2005. Remember, it's 23 years later. There's enough information out there to show you what's been going on in the disinformation. And what you've got to do is just look at what's happened in the last 4 years about how much B/S has been pumped out by the media, by the alternative media, the controlled alternative media, and all of that kind of stuff in just 4 years. Now, extrapolate that to 23 years on 9/11. And you can't give somebody an answer in 30 minutes. It's just not feasible because it's so big that most people just can't fathom that in their brains. Sorry, but yeah,
no, it's all right. No, definitely. But like I was, the thing I was trying to find earlier, it's not just like trying to show the truth to people who haven't exposed to it, but just getting it out there in whatever way you are. So some people are good at confronting others. Like 9/11 Revisionist is very is just a natural tendency, like very good at just confronting disinfo agents. Some people don't want to do that, so you don't need to do that. No one's saying to do X, Y, Z, but do whatever you can to just spread it. And so one good way is like, for example, this one right here, that Illuminati bot that he was talking about. So it's got 4.4 million impressions just literally a few weeks ago, posting some CGI stuff that they're saying there's no plane in this this footage. And then all I did was just reply with a link to my Telegram of that same footage, but it shows that quote plane. So just rule out CGI. And this post got 14.9 thousand views. Compare that with my average one, which is like, let's see, average ones. Okay, 300 was pretty good. Usually I get way less. The average ones I usually get pretty much like under 100. Let's see any of the posts I have. It's been a while since for example, yeah, this one 202. Okay, this is pretty good. Okay, so yeah, 37. Usually I get like under 100 views. So what I mean is, this is a good way. So one strategy is just find whatever's on my Telegram, copy it, and then just reply to whatever disinfo agents you see. Or if you see, for example, Richard Gage. So these guys go absolutely viral. So Richard Gage, here's pushing explosives. He just posted a 20-second clip, 11 million views. So then what you could do is, and I think I did reply to this one. I just replied, the towers returning dust, not explosives or something like that. Let's see. I should do one. I'm gonna do an experiment right now. So what we could do is go to my MES links. You see all the links I have. I have the X thread right here. Towers literally turning to dust. Copy that, and let's just see how much traction it gets. Yeah, definitely. That's why I leave the math up to you. All right. Epic stuff. So what I could do is, I don't know if you saw me or someone over there. Okay. So what I could do is, I'm gonna go reply to right now, Richard Gage. Where's Richard Gage? Let's see what he's. I think you're saying, if you have a good explanation, is the towers turning to dust. Mid-air using cold dew. All right, and then just share the tweet, and then let's see how much traction it gets. So we're doing live debunking of Richard Gage. So 11 million views. That's more than like all of my Twitter ever combined. So he's definitely not shadow banned. And my advertising account is actually banned on Twitter. I used to advertise 9/11 and it's banned. All right. Anyways, I want to try to finish this in 30 minutes, and then because I gotta head out, so I'm gonna try to go through all this stuff that I have noted here. So let's see the first thing. So there's the 9/11 revision notes. We had that taboo of disclosure. Andrew Johnson went over this years back, and this was also shown in by 9/11 revisionists showed that during this presentation. The same stuff I do on Twitter. Okay, Modern Pick. All right, so this one he's covering this footage from years ago. This is a presentation that 9/11 Revisionist was shown, and you can watch the full documentary here. I believe you could also go to his actual channel, check the evidence. But anyways, he goes through what the exopolitics or the UFO media just again covering up 9/11, just like, and even flip flopping as that one guy he showed. Literally just completely, like, he probably got a letter in the mail saying, yeah, you better stop talking about Judy Wood. All right, next setup is, so Steven Greer. Another interesting thing I found was he was born on June 28th, same day and month as Elon Musk. So that's interesting. So Elon Musk, so Steven Greer, June 28th, 1955. And then if you go to Elon Musk, he's also June 28th. So Elon Musk is also June 28th, which is 1971. And if you go, there's something interesting about June 28th. That's also the devil in Rosemary's Baby. So June 28th is also the, let's see, I think 28th. Rosemary's Baby, yeah. So I wrote right here, okay, I'm actually going further. So Nikola Tesla was also born on June 28th. It's the same day as Nikola Tesla when using the old Julian calendar. So if you go to Nikola Tesla, so he was born July 10th, but an old calendar that they were using was June 28th. So that's interesting. I just want to go to Rosemary's. So Rosemary Baby. Yeah, so Rosemary Baby, if you ever seen that satanic movie, basically there's like a satanic cult. They kidnap her, pretty much drug her and then impregnate her with the devil. And the baby's born on June 28th. All right, so that's just a sidetrack on June 28th numbers. All right, so we got through that. I'm just gonna be powering through a lot of stuff. And this thumbnail I made. So I got the unacknowledged name. This thumbnail. It's a play on Steven Greer's unacknowledged I think book and TV or documentary or so on. And I just want to bring up this to note. So he has this unacknowledged. You can see his photo for the book and or documentary. An expose of the world's greatest secret, unacknowledged. We're not alone. We never were. All right. The biggest secret is 9/11. It's like literally in our face. All right. And going further, he also has an episode on the architecture of secrecy. So he knows a whole lot about secrecy and so on. So, and he knows about the architecture of it because he's obviously a architect of secrecy. Going further here, so here's Steven Greer shirtless and flexing. All right, so that's another tell. Someone was saying a person with two first names is like questionable, like Miles Power, like it looks like a fake name. But also, if you have this guy, so this is the leader of the UFO alien movement, and now he's some jack guy talking to the Clintons and so on. Oh yeah, I got a video from Alan Revisionist. I'll check it out in a bit. And then going further here, so here's a tell. So if a guy's super jacked and all of a sudden he's super knowledgeable about all these black ops and so on, then there's usually something is up. So similar to RFK doing push-ups. So RFK is running for president. He's the seemingly anti-vax, and now he's doing push-ups right here, and he's jacked and old.
Let's go.
All right. All right. All right.
That's a fit boy.
Okay, so we need whatever roids this guy's on. Steak and him and Greer should have a flex off. Angie Coulter says, I was born on the day I was born, the only date I can keep track of. Interesting. Is that, November 20th or the other day? Okay, so anyways, so I got some votes. Okay, I got some posts right here. So explanation is the towers turn to dust. I got some retweets right now. Epic stuff. So 3 views. That's faster rate than usually get. Okay, so jacked and older. Yeah, so they're doing definitely some testosterone replacement therapy, some TRT or whatnot. Anyways, let's continue further. So Steven Greer says he was offered $2 billion to keep quiet about UFOs. LOL. All right. Have you ever? 9/11 Revisionist showed the video clip of all those free energy researchers getting dying prematurely. Now we have, but then this guy right here, he's talking about free energy, UFOs, but 9/11 he just covers that up. And so Greer right here. So if you ever wonder if anyone's disinfo agent or not, just search their name on my Telegram, and then you'll see what I think. So disinfo agent right here. Steven Greer says he was offered $2 billion to keep quiet about UFOs. So were those free energy people offered billions, like $2 billion to cover to keep quiet about free energy, or were they just disappeared? Let's see what this guy says. Oh, I gotta unmute this.
Third, Burt, who had been head of special forces and Army intelligence. General Albert Stubblebine III, Burt, who had been head of special forces and Army intelligence, he intercepted me after we had this major contact event out in Florida and near Pensacola. And he subsequently, about a month later, personally offered me $2 billion to not pursue what I was doing and become part of his team.
All right. So $2 billion. Yeah, $2 billion with a B, not an M. That's more than LeBron James' contract. Okay, guys. So anyways, so that's. I don't know. He's just making stuff up. All right, going further. Steven Greer avoids questions about 9/11. Dr. Judy Wood. I think we've already covered that. I just want to see what else I had it here. So I had a link right here. I just want to see what I had, because some of these notes, it's been a while. This is, whoops, I gotta click this. And then I gotta click agree here. Okay, this is from the, so this is that, we played the video, but you can also read it right here. It is on Andrew Johnson's, this is a Holding the Truth book right here. And I have that opened actually over at this side. So here's the link to Andrew Johnson's books that I put in here in PDF. I downloaded them, put in my own links and so on. So he has 9/11 Fighting the Truth. And then he has 9/11 Holding the Truth. There's that bus that moved slightly. It's before and after. It just moved. There's a tree. There's a tree there. Somehow it moves. And in that book, especially the Holding the Truth one. So if you search the Jeremy Reese one, we'll read this near the end because of has his criminal record in there. But I think the Greer also is in this here. So Greer. So click right here. Let's see what Greer has it here. So there's a lot of info on this. And then so this one right here. So on November 21st, 2015, at the end of the 3+ hour talk, Steven Greer faced a question from a seemingly informed member of the audience. Greer's response seemed to clearly underline his support for the cover-up of what happened on 9/11. So I'm going to read it out just because it might be clear if you didn't hear him properly. And also, I like reading it out. It's pretty funny. You can hear my laughter too. So he did not discuss any real evidence, nor did he wish to. Yeah, so ask. Yeah, so anyway, go back here. So a seemingly informed member, Greer's response seemed to clearly underline his support for the cover-up of what happened on 9/11. He did not discuss any real evidence, nor did he wish to. Instead, he said very little of note. One might even perceive what he said as a warning to not look at the available evidence. So the question was, there's compelling evidence that not just the towers, but the entire World Trade Center complex was destroyed by perhaps a directed energy type of weapon, something that was operating on a technology of molecular dissociation that seems to be very much related to what you've been talking about. Have you looked at that? Answer, I've looked at it. You know, I have bigger fish to fry. No, you don't. 9/11 was terrible. We lost 3,000 people. It led to 2 huge wars and trillions of dollars. Pause. I will tell you this. I'm not going to get into specifics. I mentioned a gentleman named Richard Fouché, third highest guy, Richard or Fouché at the Naval Research Labs. He was in meetings with the then Vice President of the United States, Cheney, and he said absolutely was known in advance, and there was involvement at that level. And he told me, and I've multiple witnesses to this, that if he were to speak of this, now he's passed away, that he, his wife, his children, and his grandchildren would all be killed. But then, so this guy would be threatened. Why don't they just give him $2 billion to not talk? All right, anyways, that's all I'm going to say on the 9/11 issue. But there's a lot to say to that story. I've never shared publicly what I just said, but the man has passed away. So it's not hard to, and I think most people get into these grand conspiracy theories. All right, this guy, the UFO alien guy's talking about grand conspiracy theories. All right, basically all you have to do is stand down. All right, there's constant threat. So again, he's pushing terrorism nonsense. There's terrorism out there. You don't even have to hoax an event in that case. So why did he bring up hoax? Okay, you just have to stand down systems that would have intercepted it. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like when you're doing a code blue, boom, clear. You say clear before you do the electric shock. So you just clear the system and let it come in and hit. Now what I think happened on 9/11 is more like what I just described. And I have a very good reason to believe that because someone of that integrity and rank had a front row seat and knew about it, and I've never spoken to this right before, but I think it's disturbing, it's enraging, but it's a minor rounding error compared to what's coming if we don't end this cartel's hedge money on the secrecy related to UFOs, ETs, what you have. So he's telling you right here, this is way back in 2015. So he's literally telling you COVID's coming. Like the COVID was a big speed bump. All right. 9/11 is going to be a very minor blimp on the screen, so that's my warning to people. Warning to people. You can take it or leave it, but I've known what you've just asked about since it happened. I've known what you've just asked about. They asked about, that question was about directed energy weapons on 9/11. So he knows what you've just been asked about in this molecular dissociation. Okay? I've known what you've just asked about since it happened. My whole security team lit up like you wouldn't believe when it happened. All right, it's a security team. All right, and then I think later he would say he was still pushing Bin Laden mumbo jumbo in his article, 2001 article. All right. So anyways, so that's Richard Greer, and let's continue further. So okay, another one. Carrie Cassidy from Project Camelot calling out Steven Greer for saying all aliens are peaceful. This is an LOL moment. So Project Camelot is just a interesting platform and media outlet. I'm just gonna go Project Camelot. So they have a giant post right here. What Steven Greer is putting forward, that he believes all off-planet races to be peaceful and non-threatening, is a lie. Whether he actually believes this is unimportant. However, it leaves humans and children vulnerable, underprotected, and are being abducted and kidnapped as part of a massive human trafficking operation conducted by the Draco aliens. In various grades, I've spoken often and repeatedly about the fact that humans are not only prey to these races and others such as dragon moths and mantids, now aligned with humans and insectoids, and more humans themselves have become perpetrators involved in using other humans as sacrificial victims for satanic Luciferian activities spearheaded by so-called elite and Illuminati members of the Alright secret. Alright, we so it's not just MES going and MES and 9/11 Revisionist going after Richard Greer, but also alien people. Project Camelot saying he's only pushing peaceful aliens. What about the evil aliens, Greer? All right, going further. Actually, yeah. Before we get to the Ashton Forbes, I'm actually gonna go over this alien scientist stuff. I'll add this thing as well earlier. I'm gonna make this smaller. All right, going to here. I'm gonna put this up to the alien scientist, and then we'll go. I'll read over his criminal history and so on. So yeah, he is absolutely ridiculous. Okay, Judy Brown getting a headache. Is that from me or from the alien stuff? Blaming Cheney gives it a flavor of bravery disclosure, but Cheney doesn't mind taking the mudsling. Comes with the job of serving the king. Bush didn't mind being blamed for JFK's assassination. Yeah, Cheney and stuff like they kind of like all that. It's like they're like the perceived bad guys, but they're just a bunch of clowns, and Satanists probably. All right, I'm gonna click this here. So now this is footage that I was sent by Ron Muckle, who's also sent me a whole bunch of Hutchison samples. So he actually went on Alien Scientist Livestream, and then he asked a question, and then you could literally see Alien Scientist squirm when he was brought up the question. Okay, where's this thing? Okay, right here. So Ron Muckle asked Alien Scientist about ball lightning and 9/11, but AS squirms. Absolutely ridiculous. All right, so Judy Brown, aliens. So again, one thing I have to say about aliens, unless proven otherwise, aliens equals a lie. All right. But again, reality I think is a lie as well. Anyways, I'm gonna close some stuff. Okay, did I get some tweets here? Oh, some people are liking my stuff. Oh, let's go. 8 views. That's unreal. All right, I'm gonna close some stuff, and I'm gonna keep this stuff opened. But I'm gonna click this alien scientist. This one is absolutely epic. So in this live stream, okay, so this is a way you could tell who's an agent and who's not by just how they interact to information and how excited they are about like advanced tech, and versus how like completely disinterested they are in advanced tech. All right, let's see alien scientist. Okay, I hate how it doesn't show up on the chat there. Okay, it takes a while to get rid of it. I have this open. I'll just play this right here. So I'll go back a bit. So the question after this.
Yeah, this is going to be awesome.
Let's play this louder. So there's a question. Ron Michael asks, no one mentions ball lightning and the events of 9/11. Few know the connection. There's alien scientists. And this, I think, believe Crypto Alchemist. All right. So you can tell who's an agent, who's not. All right. And let's go.
Oh, ball lightning. No,
Yeah,
that's mentioned lots through Bob Greenier, Martin Fleischmann Memorial Project. And shout out to Malcolm Bendel and the Thunderstorm Generator, and like the Bob now confirming the tests of the carbon-14 that's like off by 30,000 years or something, like showing straight transmutation or potential time. Well, who knows, right? But it's showing breakthrough cold fusion and technology being verified. It's wild times ahead.
That's interesting. Yeah, I'll have to check more of that out, and I look forward to verification of all this kind of stuff. It's a great time to be alive and involved with all this. So.
Yes, sir. All right, I'll let you shut her down, and we'll see everyone there.
All right, you saw that. He just quickly just try to downplay it, and also saying, yeah, what a time to be alive in the most like saddest way ever saying it. And also another thing is, nobody mentioned in the chat my face wasn't showing. When I have this box here where my mouse is, so right now I had it hidden, I forgot to unhide it. No, I actually did, but then I got to click a second button on my setup here. So here's my setup. I need to click this button each time I do a change. For example, if I do this, it doesn't show that it's gone. I need to press this again. So if I do this, so I had this on the whole time, and then I got to press this, which is annoying. I don't know how to make it not do that. Anyways, going back to that thing, I'm going to go back to his face. Notice his face right when he asked. He's looking down. Right when he says Martin Fleischmann, he turns around.
I'll have to check that.
Let's go back. 1,000 years, there's like carbon project.
Look at his face right here. Ready and go.
That's mentioned lots through Bob Greenier, Martin Fleischmann.
No, right here on his face when he talks about 9/11 and so on, ball lightning. Right here.
Memorial Project, and
he just turns around. Wait, go back here. And
project, and shout out to Malcolm Bendel.
All right. Anyways, that is next level stuff. Okay, now we're gonna read the article that what's his name? So again, he's blocked me on X, and he also makes like some like disgusting memes about Judy Wood. It's actually ridiculous. All right, so next thing is alien scientist Jeremy Reese was arrested before, and there's more books. There's a link to more books, and now here's the one holding the truth. So let's search up Jeremy. So search up Jeremy Reese, and let's go right here. So alien scientist and his alien scientist. I'm just gonna read the whole thing. This is from 2011. That's how old school Andrew Johnson has been. All right. Alien scientist dissed free energy for years, then has come around to it now, doing his scientism. His shint. All right, let's go. Edited and updated versions of the October 11, 2011 posting. Alien scientist is or was an anonymous YouTube poster whose channel was created on August 7th, 2008. He has posted a number of very interesting videos, largely to do with topics such as UFOs and related secret technologies and so on. His channel does seem to be popular, having garnered at the date of writing this article 43,000 subscribers. Oh, that's 43,000 all the way back in 2011. In January 2011, he did an interview on the Progressive Technology Hour with William Alec. The blurb for the interview is copied below. The alien scientist is a man named Jeremy, approximately 30. He prefers to have his last name identity withheld due to the sensitive nature of his work and how that might affect his career goals as a young aspiring scientist and student of physics. About 3 to 4 years ago, Jeremy read Behold the Pale Horse by William Cooper and became interested in UFO alien phenomenon for scientific purposes. This led him into researching other conspiracies such as 9/11. After reviewing much of the available information found online and finding a lack of strong scientific arguments and evidence, he decided to start making and posting his own videos in an attempt to battle the disinformation and counterintelligence out there using the only proven method of finding the real truth, the scientific method. So he literally started doing all YouTube videos and so on to attempt to battle disinformation and counterintelligence. What kind of wording is it? So he literally is telling you what he did. He went there to post disinformation and counterintelligence. That's literally what he did. To counter people actually knowing about information. A question I I then have at this point is, why is he using this particular pseudonym, alien scientist? The title on his channel says The Science of Truth. That's what it was initially called. In the description it says, truth does not fear investigation. Do your own research. So here's some research and investigation I've done relating to what Jeremy the alien scientist has said. A video from December 23rd, 2008. In late December 2008, I had cause to point out some errors in one of Jeremy the alien scientist videos entitled proof by stereotype, the quote conspiracy theory method, because it mentioned the research of Dr. Judy Wood, a common quote target for misquoting and muddling up, according to what I've been able to document since 2007. This video was originally posted on Alien Scientist's own channel, but soon after I posted, the comments listed below the video above was deleted. I made a video response to this and posted on my own channel, but that channel got suspended in June 2011. Jeremy Alien Scientist proof by stereotype, the conspiracy theory method, was reposted on the same day by YouTube user using the name Warcrime911 under the title of How to Destroy the 9/11 Truth Movement. So right, so that's literally what he is joining it to do. Jeremy Alien Scientist says in the above video, John Hutchison is a quack. All right, funny, in another of his videos, he mentions John Hutchison quite a bit, but he does not say he's a quack. I post some comments on Alien Scientist's video reproduced below. Here's some comments right here. By trying to say that the space laser weapon, again, this is way back in 2000 and like pre-2011, this is way back. Look at the form of YouTube back then. Look at how old school it was. All right, by trying to say the space laser weapon caused all the phenomenon that one would usually associate with thermite. Would that be the upside down cars and the thermite that burns metal and leaves paper unburnt? Would that be the thermite that leaves people, that levitates people? This is Andrew Johnson, UK. AdJ UK. Interesting. That's completely laughable idea, just like the laughable idea of 9/11 being a conspiracy theory. All right, so he was anti 9/11 conspiracy theory. He's pro Osama back then. All right, and then here that you describe the mainstream using this laughable idea, just like the laughable idea of 9/11 being a conspiracy theory that you describe the mainstream media using. All right, so no, never mind. He was saying that mainstream narrative is a conspiracy theory. Anyways, 348, legitimate scientific research and investigations into 9/11 done by Stephen E. Jones and Richard Gage. Oh, they are legitimate. Then why was neither thermite nor molten metal included in their NIST RFC? We also have Judy Wood with her theory that a space laser destroyed the World Trade Center. Oops, this is not correct. Dr. Wood never said this. Find the quote, please. Obvious problems such as you don't say. All right, anyways, my God, this has to be the best video I've seen regarding 9/11. No, it's not the best video. This is again, this is I believe his disinfo video. Anyways, they're not insulting and they're factually correct. Why did he delete them? So he deleted these posts. Okay, so interesting. He's way back deleting a post. Then blocked me from commenting on his channel. So he blocked Andrew Johnson pre-2011. And he blocked me on X. Did he feel my comments would, quote, expose him too much? The first 3.5 minutes of his video are fine, but then he starts being rude about Dr. Wood, and Dr. Morgan Reynolds was on the show and making false or inaccurate statements. These are two people who have actually tried to prosecute those helping to cover up what happened on 9/11. So yeah, these are two people who went after the government. Now you have this absolute clown going after them. All right, going further, alien scientist and his alien science. Going further, so legitimate scientific research, investigation, and done. Okay, this is, this is not included. Obvious problems such as, anyways, by trying to say that this space laser weapon caused all the phenomenon that one would usually associate with thermite. Thermite has literally nothing. Doesn't do anything. Would that be the upside down cars and the thermite? All right, you guys, the thermite one. Completely laughable idea. Okay, going another comment. He says, odd. How can aluminum wing struts cut through steel girders? How come only 20% of 117 people within a half mile of the WTC reported seeing or hearing the second quote plane? How come only 8% of that 117 reported seeing and hearing the plane? Only, yeah, that is true. Only 8%. He did this study on this. You can check his channel. For those reading this, please see my YouTube videos for analysis of some very important evidence this video misses out. E.g. Google 9/11 and Hurricane Aaron. So the problem with Jeremy Alien Scientist's quote truthful videos is that he is promoting two known liars, Stephen E. Jones and Richard Gage, claiming they have done quote legitimate scientific research while misquoting Dr. Wood's and Reynolds' conclusions. Judging by the content of his videos and by the way they have been put together, it takes quite a long time to do some of these. Jeremy Alien Scientist is not stupid. Quite a reverse it seems. Yeah, he put a lot of effort in editing and so on to put as nonsense. Though Jeremy Allen
Can I
Sanders talks.
interject real quick?
Go on.
Look, Abraham Revisionist, or whatever his name is, called Gage out in 2011 with regards to all the evidence that he's not discussing. And MES and I have taken Richard Gage on directly in 2023, asking him questions that he can't answer. So, the whole aspect that people are still sucking on the teats of Architects for Engineered Truth or Richard Gage and all of those guys, and the paper written by Stephen E. Jones with regards to thermite being found in the dust that only he has samples of, has been fully debunked more than 10 years ago already. But people are idiots.
Yeah, definitely. And remember, this is 2011, and they're still going at it. And now it's 2024. That's 13 years, and then this is when he wrote a book on it. So they're going on from way earlier, 2006 and so on. And they just, basically think about it this way. That's their actual job, is to spend every waking day putting disinfo, which is quite sad if you think about it. Anyways, going further, judging by the content, so then though Jeremy Sanders talks about the, quote, science of truth, the comments and observations on the video above prove that Jeremy Allen Sanders has lied. So why is it then that he has built up something of an apparent following on YouTube? More on this later. So Alien Sanders, September 2011 video, 9/11 collapse hypotheses. So Jeremy Allen Sanders made another video called 9/11 collapse hypotheses. Modern Pick says goodbye, Chad. Love from Scotland. Or bye, Modern Pick. And also, thanks for sharing on X. I think you shared the recent post right here. I think you shared it. I think that was you. Or, let's see, refresh. I think you shared it. Modern Pick. Let's go. I'll follow you as well. All right. And shared there. All right, have a good one. And then going back to this, I just want to read the whole thing because I think it's definitely worth putting it on the digital visual audio presentation right here on Andrew Johnson's article. So Alien Scientist September, this one right here. So Jeremy Allen Scientist made another video called 9/11 collapse hypotheses, now deleted, and he lied again several times. I pointed out a couple of these lies, omissions mainly about Hurricane Aaron, in a comment. Well, seems AS, interesting, AS, Ashton, oh no, never mind, I thought it was AF, has stopped saying Judy Wood's space laser theory. And also, if thermite is proved, why isn't it in the RFC, request for correction? And violent opponent, he says violent opponent. How do you mean voice for us? I guess you're struggling with your diction. Alien Scientist, it's amazing people even take you seriously when no one even knows who you are. Where's your 9/11 legal case? 13 minutes and you didn't even mention Hurricane Aaron. The questions you asked are answered in the book, snapshot taken, and then and so on. Someone, I did not save their name, but it wasn't Alien Scientist, in this case, responded, have you even taken the time to check Alien Scientist 9/11 website? Just look at all the real evidence he has compiled, and you want to talk about a effing hurricane? Who the F cares? What the hell does a hurricane have to do with anything related to 9/11? It's a giant hurricane on 9/11. When it comes time for 9/11 federal grand juries, you and Judy Wood will have no case, no evidence, and no suspects. Meanwhile, Alien Scientist has done excellent work bringing all that and more into the light. It's been 13 years, he's done nothing. That's a fairly extreme reaction to me pointing out that Jeremy Allen Scientist, who states that truth does not fear investigation, had not mentioned Hurricane Aaron in his latest video about 9/11. I'm not a lying man. Interesting. All right, Stephen F. Epic emoji there with the superfan emoji. All right, following a discussion with a friend and supporter of our research, Thomas Potter, he decided to file a copyright violation notification with YouTube because several images of Dr. Wood and an image which is on the cover of my book were misused without permission. Potter has been often been accused of being Dr. Wood. Has been accused of being Dr. Wood herself. Potter has both been accused of being Dr. Wood herself or a quote paid chill. In the submission about the copyright violations and 9/11 collapse hypothesis, Potter included these notes. The narrator makes an oral utterance that Dr. Judy Wood, who insists that the towers were vaporized to dust. Dr. Wood simply says that the process was not vaporization. This is 2011, guys. As vaporization requires high heat, vaporization is ruled out because it contradicts the evidence that there was no high heat. It discredits Dr. Judy Wood to say she is promoting mutually contradictory descriptions. Therefore, to claim Dr. Judy Wood said the buildings vaporized is slander. The narrator makes an oral utterance that Dr. Judy Wood, who insists that towers were vaporized to dust by an unknown, undocumented, unproven effect, which has never been reproduced in a laboratory and has no scientific credibility to substantiate it. It has been documented. See Where the Towers Go, evidence of directed free energy technology at 9/11, wheretowersgo.com. The technology has been proven. It has been patented. See Chapter 17 of the book. And it has been reproduced in a lab. See Chapter 17 of the book. It's on the Hutchinson and so on. As well as to provide references and documentation. It has credibility. Dr. Judy Wood believes that Nikola Tesla, quote, has credibility. The narrator makes an oral utterance that one of Dr. Judy Wood's hypotheses is a space-based weapon powered by ... Dr. Wood has never said this was a space-based weapon. So the claim that she has is slander. And the narrator goes on to show a satellite tracking map, proposes to debunk the story he claimed Dr. Judy Wood had put forth. Again, this is slanderous. The narrator shows a cartoon of a ray beam from space, implying that this is what Dr. Judy Wood has been hypothesizing. Again, this is another account of slander. And presenting this slander while showing the cover of Dr. Judy Wood's book makes his defamatory behavior more damaging. The narrator states, even if the Hutchinson effect turns out to be a proven technology, which I don't deny, well, he just said it was a quack, which contradicts what he said at 8:54. It appears the narrator has contradicted himself to attempt to confuse those who know of this technology and convince them that it can't do what he is proposing, which is baseless. This is why the video was removed by YouTube. Over the years, I have certainly grown worried people like Jeremy, alien scientists, either lying outright or repeatedly getting things wrong. However, many times they are corrected or statements clarified for them. This is completely different to having an opinion or feeling a certain way about something. Some people appear to have trouble distinguishing an opinion from a lie or a feeling, and what real physical evidence shows and proves, it seems. As I've stated earlier in this book, when a man who is honestly mistaken learns the truth, he will either cease being mistaken or cease being honest. I'm just going to actually skip some of this and go to the part where you got arrested, I think. Okay, so there's a whole bunch of other stuff. You could read all that. And then he's also dealing with anti-gravity stuff. And I think he was like covering up Edgar Fouché stuff. Alien scientists. So let's see the alien scientist connections. All right, and summary of them. And where's the arrest? Supports. Where's the arrest? I'll search up the arrest. Okay, Reuters Motion says this is huge. Arrest. All right, I think this is... Okay, this is Edgar Fouché says he's arrested. A further brief. So alien scientists, further brief notes. In my conversations with Ed Fouché, he told me that Reese had been to prison twice. This seems to be indicating this report from the area where Reese lives, which mentions prohibition. So Jeremy Reese at 10:23 p.m. 1 Cherry Street was put in custody on an arrest warrant. Police went to his house at 9:15 p.m. and his family said he was not home. Police received a call from Reese, who said he forgot his home charger when he went to work and will call his probation officer in the morning. Dispatch called probation, who asked for Reese to be picked up by police. And there is a link to the article, a screenshot. Police log road rage incident involving axe reported at Xfinity Center. All right, is he axing people? All right, police received a call reporting there were 3 brown horses approximately 6 feet tall in the road on Elm Street and almost hit the caller's vehicle. Northern Police Department sent out horses to pick them up, and she took them back. Police responded. This is 2013. No, never mind. There's no horses involved in this one. This is the part right here. So at 10:23, Jeremy Reese was in custody for prohibition. And then there's also this picture. There's him with Richard Gage right here. There's him with Gage and this other guy. He doesn't have a name there. Interesting. So he's a past conviction, which has been on probation and so on. And there's another thing, another weird connections with his father and so on. So going right here. So alien scientist connections. In researching Jeremy Reese, 2 significant connections came to light. Firstly, Reese had a connection to Richard Heen, the father of, quote, Balloon Boy. The Balloon Boy story received blanket coverage in the U.S. media for a short period in late 2009. Richard Heen claimed that without knowing him, his son was carried off inside a helium-filled balloon that he made in his back garden. A home video showed them launching the balloon, then panicking after realizing their son was in the balloon as it floated upwards. All right, so anyway, let's read this again. So Jimmy Reese, 2 significant connections. Firstly, to Richard Heen, the father. Oh, he's the father of Balloon Boy. So this guy, Richard Heen, claimed that without knowing, he accidentally filled his balloon. Filled a balloon with helium, and it lifted up his son. Home video showing them launching the balloon Then panicking after realizing the sun was in the balloon as it floated upwards. The media drama revolved around the story of the child being endangered by the situation, as no one knew where it would land. However, Richard Heen was later charged with wasting police time as he lied about his son being in the balloon, so he was lying about that. He pleaded guilty to the charge and went to prison in early 2010. The peculiar thing in this photo is a photo on American Anti-Gravity website. It shows Jeremy Reese filming Richard Heen with what seems to be a good quality video. So this guy's videotaping this scammer that said helium balloon carried his son. What is going on here? All right. So, however, Richard Heen was later charged with wasting police time as he lied about his son being in the balloon. He pleaded guilty to the charge and went to prison early 2010. So what are they doing? It was all over the news. And this guy's filming with a high def camera or high tech camera. All right. Rebecca Roth, Methodical Illusion book trilogy. Seeing one of them having landed safely. Rebecca Roth, I think she might be in this. I haven't looked at too much, but always check Andrew Johnson's this book right here. We'll check it out soon.
Rebecca Roth is a bit of a limited hangout as well, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. I was going to search her name. I think she was in this book, but I'll finish this and I'll look it up. So Jeremy Reese and Richard Heen in 2009. All right, so he's with a scammer. What exactly is the connection with these two people, apart from them being proven liars? The other interesting connection is Jeremy Reese's father, Richard A. Reese. A page on his website documents summary of major projects, June 2010. Present, working with Invencies to provide control systems for 8 PR or power-style nuclear reactors. All right, so his father works in nuclear reactors. To be located in Fujian, Fangjinjian, and Haiyan, China. The projects total about 7,300 megawatts of power. The main role has been to test the control system software and hardware. The control platform is a combination of IA systems, Tricogonex, and ATOS for the graphical user interface. Okay, Rebecca Roth promotes video fakery. All right, yeah, that's too bad. Further inspection of this webpage reveals that Richard A. Reese works in the energy industry with a company called Invencies in a project engineering role. A quick look at the Invencies website reveals Invencies works with 23 of the top 25 petroleum companies, 48 of the top 50 chemical companies, 18 of the top 20 pharmaceutical companies, 35 of the top 50 nuclear power plants, all of the top 10 mining companies, 7 of the top 10 appliance manufacturers. Invencies enables 20% of the world's electricity generation. All right, so the guy covering up free energy, his dad literally works for the energy company, like literally is a senior project engineer for that. 18% of the world's crude oil refining, 37% of the world's nuclear energy generation, 62% of the world's liquefied natural gas production, 23% of the world's chemical production. And I am given to wonder if, because I have no evidence that Richard A. G. knows Tony Craddock, so he's been wondering if he has that. Having established certain facts about Jeremy Reese, let us return to his association with Edgar Fuche, and so on. All right, so that's that stuff. I'm going to look up Rebecca Roth right now. Rebecca Roth. Oh, Roth. Is she in this? Roth space. Okay, Rebecca Roth, that's how you spell it. So novel research. In this interview, I'll search up Rebecca Roth. So always check Andrew Johnson's stuff. In this interview, Rebecca Roth, author of Methodical Illusion, was introduced as renowned. However, I've never heard of her before. Yeah, that's actually interesting how they'll bring up this. See what else she's in there. Promotion. Okay, she's on Coast to Coast Radio. This is usually how it happens. They just get on all these shows somehow. All right, and is Rebecca Roth trying to encourage people only to think about what she suggests to them and not consider what she says fits in a larger setup there? See what else. All right, see what else. Was a creation? Okay, so she was an actor. He's claiming he's an actor. Closing comments. It does not really matter what she's an actor or not, and. You have a reference page where she cites the witnessing one of the planes landing on the crash site. Yeah, if you can send that info in there, because 9/11 planes research is all over this. It needs to. All right. Anyways, make sure to check out this book and so on. Roth mixes fiction in her books. Interesting. Yeah, that does seem like it. Because again, you got to talk. If you're talking about 9/11, get Dr. Judy Wood's book right, and then everything else you're more likely to be right. Anyways. let's power through. Now we're going to through this Ashton Forbes stuff, and then that's about it. And I'll just end this stream. So Ashton Forbes Saab could be okay. This one I had a thought here in one of the last live streams on it. Let's see, Mick West. So Ashton Forbes Saab could be paid by Mick West to boost debunking industry. Because yeah, see, so for the debunking industry, you need to debunk something. So you obviously need some sort of high-profile person pushing nonsense. All right, search Ashton Forbes on my Telegram, guys. If you go to my Telegram, just go search Ashton Forbes. See what I have the latest stuff. Ashton Forbes. So you can see I have a giant list, 46 posts about Ashton Forbes. Okay, so this one right here is interesting. So this person claims, and she has some decent evidence of him saying stuff about her, but this exact clip hasn't been shown yet because he deleted all his live streams in December. So okay, and after this exchange, Justin X actually went on a live stream. This is from 2023, December 20. I went on a live stream and said I was unlovable and too ugly to be R-word, cried, and then deleted the video but someone got the clip. All right, but the clip doesn't show that full thing, but he does call her out in that. And then these other quotes from December 29th, 2023. This person says it was talking about that. It was a female debunking it. It says, I seriously doubt any of these R-word threats are true. And apparently she's a victim of R-word. I someone said because I don't want to get my channel put in any sort of flag or whatever. So who would ever want to R-word you? You're discussing inside and out. All right. and then going further. Okay, it's Maggie. Nice donation. First donation of the day, guys. Throw some money at me and your boy Nyland Revisionist. We need the gold bars, guys. The gold bars aren't gonna pay for themselves. Aren't gonna buy themselves. We need some cash. Okay, there's some more stuff. I have some actually in the I think I have. Oh yeah, so this one is actually scheduled for 4:40. In an hour or so. Oh, this one going here. Someone posted. So initially I commented and someone put this meme says you're so ugly I wouldn't even R-word you. And then this person replied because I said I couldn't find that exact quote anywhere. This person says his rant must have gone on for another full 5 minutes. Unfortunately, YouTube limits clips to 30 seconds. I know someone who recorded the entire live stream. I requested access to make a better clip. They said yes, but first want to finish a documentary on the story of MH370X. So he actually, the people, this guy from the 2023 post, he replied to me, and he says he actually said this, and I reposted this. And there's going to be a documentary being pushed. Is that someone downloaded the live stream that he deleted, that Ashton Forbes deleted. So you're going to see him in his wildest, wild MH370 West. All right, so that'll be interesting. Anyways, Ashton Forbes wilding again. So let's see what else I had. So wilding. What did Ashton Forbes say here? So this one I actually got jealous. Ashton Forbes called out everyone, but not me. Oh, that T Powell. Oh, T Powell's the one making documentary. Oh, epic. Yeah. Okay. So I need to get him show it on my channel. He's the one that was supposed to be possibly joining the channel. Maybe next week or so. Let's go to search Ashton again. Ashton Wild, and I think Ashton debate. Okay, so here's another post right here. Okay, so someone, so Ashton Forbes says, who do you think should I debate on MH370, the videos and or signs? Put your suggestions in the replies, ping them if they're on X, so Matthew's Solutions. So MES versus MH370 from MES versus Ashton Forbes live stream debate. That'd be pretty wild. But he'll never show up. All right, going here. Okay, this one here. So Ashton Forbes threatening and doxing debunkers. So he posted on Discord saying, quick note to the debunkers who are hiding in there. A reminder, I've given the evidence and Edward Lin to the AARO, who can verify that he's the guy who leaked the videos. People have, without me asking them, send me your real names and personal info, and you're attempting to debunk real videos and so on. But he says, but you're literally digging your own grave in a no-win situation. And he says right here, I only make the statement because I don't want there to be excuses later. No apologies, just accept the consequences. All right, so he's starting doxing and so on. And see what else here. Okay, this one I'm gonna keep going further. There's a video. Okay, this one right here. So there's another post here. He says that the clouds have to be stretched, reoriented, and stitched together to match a satellite photo. So he's saying that this is impossible to have the photos match because they're stretched and so on. So he's saying that if you stretch a photo, it can't match. So these aren't the same people. Anyways, I'm just powering through where's the footage wilding? What would he say without me asking them? Yeah, because legal purposes. You're not the dox people. Anyways, so Ashton Forbes, I'm just going over some. This is like some funny stuff on him. And where is the Ashton Forbes? I had the Wilding one. Where did I go? Okay, Ashton Forbes Wilding. Okay, so right here. So Ashton Forbes Wilding it, but he never even mentioned MES in his rant. Listen to what he says here.
If you are somebody out there who's telling people not to talk to me, you are an absolute piece of shit, and you are one of the worst human beings on the face of the earth. And in the future, if people tell me your name, I'm going to blast you all over social media to my 100,000 followers and on live streams as well. And I'm going to tell people what a piece of shit that you are. So don't do it. Last warning. If you're one of the people who's trying to debunk these videos, I am going to send the families after you to sue you for every single fucking penny that you have. This includes Mick West. It includes the Corridor crew. It includes Jonas DeRoe and any other debunker that puts their real name next to any debunk attempts on these videos. You have been warned. That is what I'm going to do. It's not a threat. It's a promise. I will have them take everything that you have. I will make sure the media crucifies you and make sure that you are go down in the history books as an enemy of humanity. Is that 100% clear out there, debunkers and Redditors and other pieces of crap?
All right. He never mentioned me, so I was upset. Like, he's blocked me and doesn't mention me. All right, and there's another Ashton right here joking. Okay, so this is right here. So Ashton Forbes went on this channel and he's joking about creating the MH370 videos, but he does sound rather convincing. All right, listen to this. Is he joking or is he just telling you? Look at him smirking too.
You ready for the big announcement?
I am.
Okay, guys.
An exclusive.
I've thought about it for a long time. Decided.
Is this an exclusive?
This is exclusive. It's
right.
time to come clean, guys. You got me. I'm the one who made the videos. I've been perpetuating a hoax on you guys this whole time. You fell for it. I'm a VFX expert. I'm coming out. I'm telling you guys, I've been hiding my skills this whole time. I built this whole case up just to trick the entire internet so that I could get on Joe Rogan. All you guys fell for it. 6 months in the making. Actually, I made those videos 10 years ago. And now here I am, and I waited for the long con of 10 years later to come out with it, guys. Wow, can you believe it?
It's the long game. The long game wins.
Man. For anyone that's out there, unless I'm joking, I did not make the videos.
All right, is that a joke or he's telling you like it is? And Judy Brown sounds like a wrestler when he was talking that. Yeah, he does. Yeah, he's definitely a wrestler. He's a professional wrestler. A disinfo wrestler. All right, see what else we had in store right here. Oh yeah, so Ashton Forbes is literally getting on every single setup here. Oh, this is actually 2013. Ashton Forbes gets on Steven Greer's X Space. So somehow he's on Steven Greer's X Space. He gets on this Emerald Robinson show, and he has a debate with Glenn Beck, all within like a week span or like a month or so span. And Ashton Forbes blocked me, but I'm open for debate. And then a joking one right here, and then yeah, the one he says he covers up, he avoids 9/11. That's actually released for him on a friendly platform. Yeah, that is true. All right, this is actually from 2013. This one is footage from 11 years ago. It's actually 2013. This is a similar style thing, but this guy says this is a hologram in the sky, but it looks like it looks exactly like that CGI setup. All right. Okay, so this is the X Space right here. Why does it open like that? That's what I hate when I'm already logged in. I shouldn't open the desktop. Okay. I'm going to do this right here. Ashton Forbes. Okay, just Ashton Forbes update. So I have like a giant update on it. Let's go to list form, see what else has the next setup here. I'm just going to keep going here. All right. So this one here, Ashton Forbes avoids 9/11 but goes all in on bogus MH370 teleportation videos. And again, a lot of this 9/11 revisionist went over. So this guy says, I'm not suicidal. Mossad agents are trying to kill me. Right now, this may be my last night. If I stop tweeting, I was executed by Mossad and or U.S. forces. Free energy is real. And then he says, Ashton Forbes says, yes, it is. In the same technology ate up towers. He said, I avoid 9/11 stuff, but dudes are absolutely real. And he says, why? And then and so on. And then 9/11 revisionist shares his post about that. And this guy right here says, Ashton, love you, bro, with a spot on. Massive respect to you for fearlessly taking things this far, but now very logically makes you the man to take it, make it further. Technology is the same, and agencies behind it are likely the same. Come on, bro. Yeah, and obviously he's not going to talk about that. All right, where's that other post right here? So I keep going. The next one. Oh, yeah, so he's on this show, So somehow he got on this show. So here's my spot with Emerald Robinson from earlier today about the MH370 case. And Emerald Robinson has 693,000 followers. Like, how in the world is he getting on these shows? All right, let's see this one here. And then he's also on, yeah, so somehow he's a debate with Glenn Beck. Like, Glenn Beck is used to be on Fox News or whatnot. So how is he getting on these? Jim Jones says MH370 free-scale cloaking technology cover. Interesting. Possibly. All right, okay, going further. Let's see what else I had on the teleportation. Okay, so I think I had another post right here. Oh yeah, so another thing is, before he got into the this MH370 stuff, in 2021 he actually sued the San Diego County for their mask mandate. So that's something good he did. So this is arguments against mask requirements during the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic 2020 and 2021. So, and then you have Ashton Forbes right here. Ashton Forbes, a plaintiff challenging San Diego County's mask requirements. So Ashton Forbes is everywhere. Okay, so Ashton Forbes has seen regicide and on videos that are not currently public. So here's another one. This one is Rotary Motion actually sent me this one right here under this video at the 108 mark. If you listen to him, so if you listen to him right here, a Jewish prophet Ezekiel, I think 108, I think. Or Timothy Sullivan with the donation, epic. Oh, Timothy Sullivan donation in that video, epic stuff. 108 or that. So whatever he's saying here is wrong. I think I put the
leaked this video. Totally leaked this fake. But
so he says he uploaded fake.
Posted.
Even this guy says he posted. The other guy posted videos that look fake.
And UFOs. It doesn't mention MH370 anywhere in this video. It says published May 19th, 2014. It says received 12 March 2014. Posted May 19th, 2014. Source protected. We looked up this guy's old videos. His account's been deleted. He was a UFO uploader. He had other UFO videos that he had uploaded before this that are not nearly as high quality as this. You know, in my opinion, I would say many of them look, very fake.
And you had the burp.
Very fake. Look, very quality as this. You know, in my opinion, I would say many of them look, very fake.
So if you know statement analysis, yeah, you know what he's
saying. But, so this would kind of show that this person potentially was not the person that found these videos. They're not somebody who created them either. They're not somebody who is a CGI expert or anything like that. The fact that it says source protected while there are other ones we looked up, say like email submission, would tell us that there's somebody who actually leaked this video to Regicide Anon. And in fact, because of the...
if you play that video, it's actually ridiculous. I deleted it. Okay, it's deleted that post. I think if I recall correctly, he doesn't actually... There's no actual videos before that. Let's see. Or if there were afterward. Because if I go to MES Links right here, you go to the MH370, just click this, MH370 PSYOP, and I have all the footage, links to alleged teleportation videos. So I have all the links right here. Literally disappearing. Video 1, let's go to the video 1, I think it's the regicide, this is the first one. So if I click the web archive, yeah, this one right here. So there's an... yeah, so if you watch it, make sure to watch my live stream before if you want to know about MH370 psychological operation. Click his Regicide Anon. If I click his thing, okay, this is all in archives because the channel's gone now. But the channel was literally created strictly to upload those videos. Channel does not exist. Why is it doing that? I know it doesn't exist. Just show the thing. Okay, we are. Okay, also Ashley Burnett said Ace Combat. I think if someone found his other channel, or okay, Regicide channel archives right here. See the links. Man, I just absolutely hate these archives. Just show it. Ashton Forbes debunking claims. Just want to see what it has. Okay. Anyways, I don't know why the links aren't working anymore. Just they used to work. Now it's just not working. All right. Okay. So basically, yeah. Once the archives link, you can go through them. The videos he had to have seen them beforehand because nothing plays. So somehow he was able to watch them. Anyways. I'm gonna go power through. I'm losing focus. Okay, Ashton Forbes very likely created this channel, this MH370 account on January 2010. It does on there actually 2 accounts. Let's see. I'm gonna just click right here. All right, and then we'll play this video, and then I'm just gonna end it. Okay, Ashton Forbes sued over this. We got over this hoaxing. We got the joking one. Okay, this one. There's a channel right here called Ashley Burnett, and it's very likely that that person is literally. Let's see, Ashley. Yeah, and this one right here. I think I opened this. Okay, that person is very, very likely to be. Yeah, this one right here. He's very likely to be Ashton Forbes. Because this is in January 10th, 2023, so last year. So about like 7 months or so before Ashton Forbes started talking nonsense. And he has this video, and somehow it has all of the all of the claims that Ashton Forbes says. His name is Ashley Burnett. The account was created literally a few days before this, and then he on January 10th uploaded January 12th. He says satellite footage, and then he has the MQ-1 drone footage. That's what they call it. That's what he calls it. And he has these footage, and it has this plane and so on. He's saying fire. He basically has all the claims, and already has the person that they're blaming on. They're blaming on that random the person that went to jail. I think they blamed him on there. Let's see what he had here. MH. Okay, original uploader, original side and on. Anyways, this is like 7 months beforehand. And then T. Powell, I think he's the one who's working on a documentary. So he was able to find that that Ashton Forbes was commenting on that, and then he may have accidentally commented some on the channel. But he's also commenting a whole lot on this channel. Let's see, I think he goes into this. There's a channel right here. There's Ashton Forbes somewhere in there. But anyways, the guy... Okay, let's see what else is in this. Okay, yeah. So this channel literally told people to read Ashton X's tweets. So that channel made that before he did 7 months before, and then started telling everyone to just read his to learn more info on the stuff. And then there's this one post right here where it looks like he accidentally posted as himself. So this guy just says, how did you know? And it says, why is that a question? You're a federal? And so what he was saying is, this sure looks like Ashton responding accidentally from the wrong account as the original poster, and then covering up with a BS response from the OP saying this. But then later he's saying, guys, read Ashton's tweets. All right. So anyways, that's that stuff. And then, okay, going further right here. So I commented actually, so wow, that's definitely Ashton, LOL. And these 2013 videos show similar likely hoax videos. I got this from the Reddit set up here. So this is 2013, has those 3 orbs around it. And here's the footage right here.
MES, I've got a quick stupid question.
Yeah, go on.
Seeing that we've seen that there's a lot of multi-layered aspects with regards to technology and all of these kind of things, don't you think that MH370 could be another exponential layer even years after 9/11 to take attention away possibly from 9/11 at all? Because it gives me this kind of feeling that Ashton is getting a lot of airtime right now, whilst there's another movement happening where people are waking up to 9/11. Seeing he's talking about the same technologies, but diverting away from 9/11 and not wanting to discuss it. This is just my conspiracy mind just jumping in here with regards to what you're sharing at the moment.
No.
What do you think?
100%. Because number 9/11 is the big one, and you're gonna always need to have disinfo agents putting out distractions that get people focused on this stuff, and again at the expense of 9/11. That's why they don't cover 9/11. So, and that's why the 9/11 is a litmus test. Like, how do you know if this person's an actual real truth teller? Well, get them if they get 9/11 right. Okay, they might be onto something. Otherwise, they're literally trying to put this out there. Yeah, again, it's distraction. But the thing is, they also need disinfo agents need to do something. So what I mean is, let's say you can't just have like an Ashton Forbes. You do one disinfo and then just ignore him for forever. He'll be too damaging, or just I'm trying to think like as a business one, he's too big of an asset to just let him be on his own. So you're gonna tell him you're gonna need to do stuff. This is one of them. And this one has other stuff that not just cover up 9/11, but cover up what actually happened on MH370. So like I was saying, if the actual plane got teleported with advanced tech, this was disinfo to cover it up. Yeah. So so definitely you're right. It is a distraction. That's why I went on it, because everyone was talking about this. So my goal was to sway it back on to 9/11. I'm literally go there. Do the MH370 a whole bunch.
100%, that's what we need to do. We need to bring the attention back to 20-year-old conspiracy type thing.
Yeah, for sure. It's just, this is another footage there again. This is 2013. I was gonna play this video right here. Looks like very similar to that 3 orbs. And the guy talking is a Mexican guy, I think.
3 y una que se ha quedado arriba, 4 y estas 3 forman un triángulo. Fijaros.
Yeah. So you guys see the orbs. Orbs and so on. And that's 2013, just beforehand. And there's some I think the last one we'll go over. Yeah, so this guy right here, T-Pal, he's done a whole lot of stuff on this. One of them is, and also there's another a more mainstream debunker. But again, the debunking industry needs people to debunk. So it's multifaceted. But another thing is, it's all coming out at the same time with the UFO stuff. So it's also pushing the UFO Project Bluebeam agenda and so on. And then also getting people just confused. Like, they don't know, are UFOs real? But why is this guy pushing teleportation? All this fake stuff. All right, this one here was Anchorman. I just wanted to show right here, because this guy, I think he put it in here. Okay, I'll just go on this one right here. So the last thing is I want to show is on Anchorman. So if you watch the video, every single frame of the explosion in that teleportation video of both the quote thermal and the quote satellite, because my opinion they're neither, just Photoshop, was literally taken from like every single frame was taken from a stock footage, a very popular stock footage. So here's a fast forward one of a VFX person doing this, and they would go through this put all the frames and then match them up with this setup here, and they're just basically doing just a routine video editing to make them all match up. And this is also used in 2004. So 2014 is the MH370 disappearance. Now you got this one right here, and it's using very popular setup right here. So this is from Anchorman 2004, and it shows on his eyes right now. They use the exact same. So use the exact same stock footage, and the stock footage is famous too. So the guy sells it, and okay, I'm getting a knock on it. Oh, just 1 second. I'll be there. I'll be back, and then I'll just end it soon. Alright, I'm back. Alright, let's see what I missed. Alright, yeah, so Maui, yeah, it's also a distraction from Maui and everything. But it's also a distraction from war, a distraction from inflation, distraction from a whole bunch of stuff. Because, but the main reason is, again, it's a lie. Because if it was real, that is important to talk about, but it's not real. It's the teleportation stuff there. Even if teleportation was real, that's a cover-up for it. But also, he goes on these, like, giant tirades. And if you go to his stuff, he also defends Andrew Tate and so on, so that's interesting. So I can't search up. I gotta use a different tab. Anyways, I'm gonna try to end this in a few minutes, but I'm gonna go right here. Why does it do that whole thing? I'm gonna. If I have opened my personal account, if I go just X Ashton and then rape or R word, my bad. Anyways, and there's a whole bunch of him talking about it. He was trying to defend Andrew Tate, saying he wasn't actually doing that, and so on. So out of all the people he was posting before MH370. He was defending Andrew Tate, so I find it pretty unlikely Andrew Tate admitted to R word on a knowingly recorded jail call, and so on. So it's like, out of all the people, he's defending that other guy, House of Cards, and so on. Interesting. Yeah, that's another thing. People are he's an important asset for whoever's managing him. All right, continuing further. Yeah, if you definitely watch this live stream I did on this, the whole MH370 setup there, and I'm gonna keep going. And in another angle, I'm gonna actually do a deep dive when I do another solo live stream that I got from actually I got messages from Rotary Motion. So the MH17, the other plane that was shot down, he shows that there was literally like the bodies had weird, like no blood on them, weird kind of injuries, and so on, and they had weird toasted bodies, and so that's something I'm gonna have to deep dive into. So MH3, let's see this one right here, and the bodies were all like weirdly damaged and so on.
And another plane as well.
So this one here, this was MH17. And this guy's saying, are they the same planes? This is from 5 months ago. This is Ashley Bennett's. Oh no, this is literally Ashton Forbes. Look at it. So it's not the same plane, Ashton Forbes. But anyways, the bodies were apparently severely damaged and so on. So that's something I want to look at. Anyways, guys, that is, I think I'm pretty much done right here. I wanted to save the other stuff for later. And yeah, go to my, what is pictures? We'll look at it. Oh yeah, so some of the pictures. He showed some of the ones in the, he did some screenshots, I think. Or was it actually in your own channel, I think? Let me just go back here. Go to media. I think you shared some of the photos. Oh, this is a bit scary. Okay, that's in the guy's face, one of the bodies in the MH17. So I'm not going to show that. I'll just, there's some other bodies, mangled bodies and so on. So this is absolutely brutal. So you guys can look at that on your own day. And also he shared my other thing, a Malaysian backwards 666 with the 666 right there. And so on. All right, yeah, so that is, yeah, the bodies are absolutely brutal there. Anyways, guys, I'm just going to close some stuff. Yeah, so the bodies were actually absolutely brutal. Judy Brown, good research. See you later. Yeah, thanks. Okay, guys, I'm going to save this so I don't lose it all. And then, yeah, so next week, we'll see. I might have a guest if the T Powell guy wants to show and do the Ashton Forbes stuff or MH270, or but likely just also do a solo live stream and deep dive. Might do scalar weapons or scalar technology, and basically what Ashton Forbes was talking about, but without the MH270 nonsense. All right, and also may actually look at MH270 directly. All right, guys, that is all for today, guys. And yeah, I'm just gonna go to the live streaming thingy, and hopefully everybody enjoyed and so on. See me in the chat, and
don't forget about me.
Oh, yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Do you have anything else to say? Yeah. Now that I'm Revisionist, do you have anything else to say? It was great having you on as always.
Or we changed it to early morning, going to bed 2:45 a.m. So it's been fun.
Yeah, so you're sleeping early now instead of the 5-hour special.
Early night for me for change.
Yeah, but anyways, it's still pretty long. We had 3 hours and 40 minutes. That's epic. Oh, yeah, and I stood most of the time, pretty much like 3 hours plus of it. All right, guys, and I think that's all. And also, guys, remember to donate to me and your boy, Now Living Revisionist. I'll send the links again.
We're very poor and we haven't got electricity in Africa, people. So I need to buy an inverter so that I can have electricity or at least candles or something.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, guys. So, guys, buying some gold candles, gold bars, and that's all, guys. And I'm gonna have to end the chat now, guys. And if there's anything else you want to say, because I think it's pretty good.
Very much, man. I can't wait till you have Dr. Morgan Reynolds on and John Hutchinson.
Yeah, and John Hutchinson. Yeah, I'll be absolutely happy. And then Judy Wood, if she ever gets out from her slumber. This is because this is different than the other interviews she does. It's not live. These ones have live comments. You'll have disinfo agents literally in the chat saying stuff, and we have to like fight them off real time. All right, guys, that's all, guys. Thanks. That was great. Thank you, Tim. Everyone, have a good night, guys. And that is all, guys.
Good night, everybody. Have a great day. Bye bye.
All right, guys.
Check you next time.
Yeah,
Bye.
ending in 3, 2, 1, go.